Gracia over the plains.
Very much gracia. Yes.
As they do. As they do. Those damn gazelles. Nah.
Daar houdt die intro. those damn gazelles.
This episode of Uncle Curse's podcast is brought to you by my inability to bore myself.
Like pretty much everything else in your life.
I mean, shit, man. Sometimes you just gotta make sure you just fall asleep from pure exhaustion instead of boredom,
like
right?
Everything in your life is like, it's brought to you by your boredom. So you're pretty much brought to everybody, like one way or the other.
Well, I mean, shit. People who get bored tend to look for stuff in weird places.
Yeah.
And welcome to everyone listening and, well, I mean, must be a little tough of your death, I guess. Screw it. My name is Curse, and with me is one of my good friends, Christopher?
Croffer.
Croffer? How we do it?
Croffer.
Yeah. Any last names? 2 or 3 more?
The D.
The D.
Croffer the D.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Alright, so, this whole point is actually just to talk about shit. So, one of the things I have always wanted to ask you about
Yeah. Okay.
is, what's the process when you sit down with your friend and you do Kopfpauffenhasen?
Kopfpauffenhasen?
Yeah.
Well, actually, first of all, the name was thought of in German, so it's actually Kopfpauffenhasen. That's the first thing, but it was like...
Awesome, I didn't know that.
We would never get that point across because we just used that and sign. I don't know what it's called.
Like most is too.
So it's Kopfpauffenhasen.
Kopfpauffenhasen.
But yeah.
I like that.
Well, that's like, so you want to know like the process when we're together and making it, because a lot of it I'm making myself here, you know, the instrumentals and the
Yeah,
beats.
that's true. But that's more the blueprints, right? Like
Yeah, of course.
Like
Yeah, okay. So
the
like,
basis of it. So I'm more thinking like
Yeah.
when you guys actually getting down to the creative process, when you're actually making it from a diamond in a rough that you're coming
Yeah,
with, and then
okay.
you guys are sitting down and making it
so
shine.
let's say,
You know?
for example, just before the podcast started, I showed you something I'd made.
Excuse
So
me.
that would be like the rough blueprint of something.
Right.
I'll send that to Nico and Hassan.
Nico und Hassen.
And they will like text each other back and forth, like figuring out some lyrics for it. Because the only reason like I don't make it all the way to the finish line with every track before I send it to them is because they don't really give a shit about the details in the mix or in the instrumental. They just want they just need the blueprints so they can throw on, okay, here's the verse, here's like a chorus or something, and figure out the lyrics for it.
So they're more like, yeah, the lyrical part of
Yeah,
it.
so I think it's kind of a way to like speed up the process. So while I'm working the track to the finish line, they already started finishing the lyrics for it, so they don't have to
Oh.
wait like that. So when they'll get the blueprint, start on the lyrics like
Right.
early, and at some point, you know, when they're like, okay, we got some amazing stuff, they'll get it up here. We'll have an appointment or something.
A
Usually we
meeting,
say-
so to
yeah,
speak. Yes.
we actually used to say that, like the council's meeting.
The council meeting.
The council meeting.
With little candlesticks everywhere and ominous church music in the background.
Pretty much.
Very dramatic.
Like some weird guy with a hat and some scent sticks, like
Yeah, going
from a
around.
ball, swinging it back and forth.
One of these monks too is going around smacking himself in the head with a piece of wood.
Shame.
Ding ding ding. Oh, different
That's-
franchises crossing over.
That's
So-
how we welcome people to the studio.
So now that you now you're saying his name, Kopfpauffenhasen.
Kopfpauffenhasen.
Kopfpauffenhasen. But you're mentioning a third name, Nico.
Yeah, Nico.
So what's
Yeah.
the deal? Why is he not Bill, yo?
Yeah, because it was like he came in like a later part because we had the metal band Getaway, and in Getaway he was the bassist. And when Getaway didn't play together, he was looking for something else to do. pretty much. And while we were playing in Getaway, he was also like a little part of it. Like he liked to take a verse here and there because it was fun, right?
Yeah.
But it became a little bit more serious when we didn't had Getaway to play together. So he took over like a bigger part of it. And now we're working on another project where I just make the music and Hasn't and Nico
und
Hassen is actually the vocalists or the rappers in that project.
Oh,
I won't be
right.
in the spotlight anymore.
So you won't even grab a mic?
Yeah, of course, but I'll be the new Nico. I'll be the one that occasionally step in to take like a verse here and there, say something funnier, something like that.
Okay. Okay.
And he's like taking the role of Croffer instead.
But to be fair, I mean, already before you had this whole demeanor about not saying anything and just standing there, where you're standing there with your shades on and just walking in, taking the verse and going back again. So you're already kind of there.
That's like the place I want to be is like in the back. I'm a bit shy when it comes to that.
Shit, man!
I like when I lie down in the evening, and listen to some great music while I fall asleep. I always picture myself like being the lead singer in the band or something. So up front on the stage, like But when it comes to real life, I'm just too shy, man. I think way too much. Like, what if they think like I'm someone who's like trying to be tough and trying to be like...
Fuck what other people think, man.
Yeah,
if you want to do it and go up and have some fun, you go up and have some fucking fun.
In the background.
Yeah, and
I do what I'm on there.
And if that's how you have fun, that's no judgment, man. No judgment.
But the thing is, I have to be in the right mindset to take that role that I'm dreaming about while I fall asleep. Like, to take that role, I have to be in the right mindset. And I haven't figured out how to put myself in that mindset yet. So I can't, like, if we have a gig and I'm supposed to be in that mindset, but I'm not, it's gonna be a bad concert for me. Like, if I'm not in that mindset, I'm gonna be shy, pretty much.
What I've done sometimes, because I'm gonna level with you, man. Every time before I walk on stage, no matter what the hell I do, if I'm in front of people in some way, this is a little different, but if I'm in front of people and have to perform something, I'm shitting bricks the second up until I'm taking the first note.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm telling you, before that is... I take 2 beers. Every single time before I go up to do something, I take 2 beers just to get my edge off. I can't deal. So... Well, yeah, when I'm out there and
I can agree with you on that one, because when I played in Getaway, I was always on the guitar. So I could always, like, rely on, okay, I have to play this. So I would be, like, in this mindset of playing the guitar, pretty much. I would be...
You can hide behind
I would just be, I would just be playing the guitar, and everybody, he's playing the guitar. And I'm like, fuck how I'm looking or what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm playing guitar.
You're playing, you're
That's
grooving.
my thing. If I do that good, it's all good. The thing is, like, with the guitar, it's my fingers doing the work. I've learned this. I've memorized it. But Croffer und Hassen, it was vocals,
Yeah.
And, like, I find it so much harder to use your vocals, like, also because, like, one day you'll sound great, and the next day you will have to do your warm-up 3 times and drink 3 cups of ginger tea before you even attempt to do the last warm-up before you're like, just stepped out of bed, boys. There's... But your fingers is so much more reliable,
I feel that. I was the lead singer in a band at one point. We had one gig, and I was the lead singer, and it was kind of a thing in the band. Everybody did their, like, secondary instrument.
Yeah, so like you turned the tables.
Everybody in that band did not play their main instrument. And my secondary at that time was primarily vocals, so I was like, sure. So this one gig we go to, and
that's a cool way to, like, get into another mindset, because, like, okay, that's your secondary thing, so now you have to.
Yeah.
Like, figure it out. If you're not comfortable with it, get comfortable.
Exactly. So
With it. That's great.
we go to this gig, which is actually also where I met my current drummer in my death metal band.
Take us.
Yeah,
Gregory.
I met him
Gregory,
because
yeah.
the guy, the main bass player, he had too much stuff to do apparently, so suddenly he just jumped off. He jumped ship. So we got the drummer got Gregis in,
Yeah.
and but yeah, we go to this gig and Gregis is on bass. It's pretty funny. You don't see him a lot with a string instrument on stage.
Also, like, he would be like as thick as the bass, or as thin as
Yeah.
the bass.
Yeah, well, it was pretty much a dual show.
Yeah.
But I remember that whole, like, shit, that feeling of being naked on stage only with the mic. I just thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to do what I do
Oh,
at a
yeah.
concert, so I just freaking
I
snapped.
didn't really
and-
think about that, because usually when I see you live, you've got your bass and you're singing, so I just imagined, like, automatically you had a bass.
But I didn't.
But of course you didn't.
No,
That was
I
me.
only had the fucking mic. so yeah, I've tried that. That whole woof, it's weird. I really commend like lead singers who were able to like get on the other side of the stage. Those people, you really have to tip the hat to them, because it's
You see, like, one
it's
concert
hard to
I
get
think
over
of
like that.
is with Stone Sour. I saw them in Denmark at some point.
I've never seen them live before. I've
Oh,
seen Corey
great.
before in
Yeah,
Slipknot.
Slipknot. And he's
but
great
yeah.
there also. But
Yeah,
this was
yeah,
like, he's
I mean,
wearing a mask
for
also
fun.
in Slipknot. And I think that was one of the reasons I love Slipknot and fell in love with them, was the masks also, because
It's a good image, man.
and I like to identify with it, and was like, if I was on stage and wearing a mask, I would become a beast, you know,
Yeah.
because I could. No
Yeah.
one could see me, you know. But the thing is, when you see him with Stone Sour, it's like there's even more energy, because there's not
I could imagine. You
this
can see his
dark
face.
atmosphere is not there as it is with Slipknot. So he's
No.
like more rock and roll Corey Taylor, you know. He's Corey motherfucking Taylor.
It's Corey motherfucking
Right?
Taylor.
So this
That sounds
man-
like fun.
And I met him afterwards, and he was like, he went me to like my biceps or something.
Really?
He's like I think 168 centimeters or something. He's a tiny guy actually.
Well,
but
yeah,
like the way he
apparently.
runs around on stage, and he completely owns it. And he plays next to fucking Jim Root, and he's a tower. But
yeah.
nobody would notice Jim Root in a concert if Corey was walking all over stage, you know.
That's funny, yeah, because I've seen Slipknot a couple of times, and I mean, yeah, you can see a height difference, no doubt about it. But yeah, but I've never really noticed that. Like, yeah, apparently it's he's a freaking tower. Mick Thompson too.
Yeah, also,
he's
like,
both
not-
of
he's
the
not even
guitar
tall,
players
he's
are
like-
just huge people, man.
He's got this bear thing going.
Yeah, shit. I mean,
Emo bear.
I've never met him, but the people that I know that have been to meet and greets and stuff, they also
Yeah.
like, they're just what you can imagine. They're nicest people.
Yeah, also, like, it was like before the concert, we also met Jim Root. I just
You did?
remembered. Yes, and he
Oh,
was like,
sweet.
he was taller than me.
What's he like? Did you actually
Like-
get to talk to him, or was it just like,
no,
oh,
no,
hi,
it was like we were like hardcore fans back then. We were like seventh grade, right?
fanboying? Ooh,
Yeah, in
oh,
seventh
boy.
grade, and we were like, oh, we gotta get like we gotta get to the front, man. There's no doubt. So we were like there like 5 hours early, and that was like,
dedicated.
yeah,
Nice,
because I
man,
think
nice.
we were like in seventh grade. We haven't gone to that many concerts unless our parents went with us, and they always wanted to like, yeah, get there an hour early or something. We were like, no, we're gonna go at the front. But I think that day we learned, like, in Denmark, people just like they don't bother coming to the concert hours early.
No,
when
yeah,
it's
not a
when
lot of
it's
people do.
just a concert, you know. So we were like 3 hours early from anybody else showing up.
Yeah, yeah, and you're just sitting there like,
And we
yes,
were like,
yes.
but we had stuff to do also, because we were carrying this a case of beers, like 30 beers with us, and when we were carrying them around the corner, we were like, Nico. Also, it was like, this is actually Nico hasn't Hazen and me.
Yeah. Oh, it was you three?
Yeah.
Sweet.
But Nico just like he stops, and it's like, guys, hold up, and we're like, dude, it's fucking heavy. Can we get going? He's like, it's Jim Root, and we're like,
Fuck you.
turn around, and Jim Root is standing there with his phone, like taking a picture of a Jeep, and we're walking by, and we're like looking at him. He was like, you don't see these in America. It's cool. And we're like, and we're like,
totally just shaking your pants, not knowing what to do.
I was so starstruck, so I don't even remember what we were talking about. But like,
Seventh grade, man.
He followed us. He followed us back to the venue.
Oh, that's sweet.
And we were standing out there, cracked open the beer. And he was like, "Yeah, I'll have one." And we were standing there, and he was like, "Got some time," so he was just like hanging out.
Sweet.
And I remember this also. I rolled him one of my cigarettes because he wanted to try one, and he gave me his last Lucky Strike. And I kept that Lucky Strike like on a shelf back home with the Stone Sour and Slipknot CDs. I don't know where it is now. I guess I've thrown it out. I'm not that affectionate to things like that anymore,
I was just about to like, did you end up smoking it or something?
Nope, never.
No?
Never smoked it. Don't think so, no.
Damn.
I remember like we went on like talking about hentai, and I was like
random,
and it's like a happy trauma I've got because I only remember bits because it was just so much, you know,
such a big impression.
Yeah, it was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? And my brain was just like scattering itself just to find out like, how am I supposed to react right now? What should I do now? Like every moment. So I don't remember much, actually.
No.
Just remember standing there.
Sorry?
Do
Do I remember standing there?
No, I just remember
No.
standing there.
You remember standing there, right? The whole thing with like bands that just takes a lot of space without doing that much necessarily. Tool.
Yeah, Tool.
We both saw Macomb Hell this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the year 2019, they finally came.
Finally.
And
to greet the Danes.
I mean, that I've talked with some people, and there were some. It seems some people didn't like it. Sure, but a lot of the arguments for it that I heard was that they didn't do a lot on stage. And my first thought is just, well, I mean, yeah, they didn't do a lot. But have you heard the music they play? It's not easy stuff. Also, I've heard it with Meshuggah, too. There's also people being like, they don't move a lot, but yeah, they're busy counting.
I would say that with Meshuggah, especially, that they're busy counting, you know.
Yeah.
Their music is based on, like, some songs, you listen to them and think, okay, so this is a tutorial in polyrhythms.
I'm not saying the Tool play the same level of poly as they do, but
that's the thing. I've heard the same things about them from people also who saw the concert.
Yeah, it's like mixed feelings somehow.
But I was more like, but you don't need like the visuals. Was more my impression of the show. You know, you didn't need the visuals. I get that. Also, you kind of have to respect that they're counting their shit. And
they're playing some complicated stuff. Yeah. It's not. I mean, similar songs are something you can learn to play after you've practiced a bit, but you don't just sit down and just play a Tool song just like that without it sounding a little bit.
You don't jam out a Tool song.
No. I mean,
you simply don't.
It takes some thought. But the whole thing about it is, I'm thinking that a lot of people expected more from a band that's been talked so much about.
Oh yeah, are you thinking like people who weren't into Tool like for a long time? I've heard a lot about them because they've come up so much in the years.
Those as well. But there was a lot of people, it seemed, that didn't like have a time where that really went down and went nerd on them.
No, and I think that's...
They maybe heard the pot or something like that.
But that's
like,
kind of what I meant, I think. But, you know, like there's Tool fans, and the fans, they're like cult fans. They're like
Yeah.
they're dedicated. Dedicated. You know.
They're really some dedicated.
And the rest
people.
is like, okay, I heard a couple numbers, but didn't get into it. Like the people get into Tool, they're sucked into Tool. You know, there are tools.
It's just this whole trance thing going. I'm totally down with it. So I was
Yeah.
I was in trance from the first
Yeah,
second.
me too.
I was just
I was like, I heard one number, and I remember this feeling of thinking, oh, was that the end? No, it wasn't the end. And you know, it was just like the dynamics going down.
Yeah.
And they came in like with the riff again. I was like, yeah, and they did like, I think it was Parabola, like Parabola and Parabola.
all right.
So like
right.
they go in and out.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it keeps on going, and I was like, more.
I for one freaking love the visuals.
The visuals.
Yeah, the visuals
Oh,
on,
like,
on the
the
screens.
animations.
I freaking loved it.
Yeah.
I really like it when bands like do something big out of their stage when they have the resources to it.
Yeah, of course.
I
they do something for the audience who came to see them.
That too, but I appreciate the work.
Yeah.
I really just appreciate
Like their dedication.
Yeah, like hey, they're really doing a lot. It takes a lot of paperwork to get stuff like that going. You need to have a.
But like that's what I mean. Like they do something for the audience.
Exactly.
Like
So
for the fans.
there's what I think one of the reasons so many people I have heard that seemed a little about it is because a lot of people, and no blame for it, but a lot of people tend to forget how much work actually just goes into setting something like that up.
Yeah.
How many people actually are required. You need to have an animator, a colorer, a guy that edits it all together, the company that makes the screens, and all of this. And then the festival, how big can we make it? What kind of size do we have? How do we need to, we have
It's
to...
not just home footage on a big screen. You know?
Exactly. It's like, and they're doing that on a whole tour thing probably. So they have to make sure that everything goes time-wise up with everything else. It's a huge amount of work. And the bigger the setup, the more work it is. So sometimes I can I really get impressed by people's ingenuity to make stuff like that work in such a short amount of time.
Yeah. But I guess I wouldn't say a short amount of time with Tool. Like.
I don't know how long they were about it. Some of the
But they've been touring in America, for example.
yeah,
Like for a long time, actually.
some of the guys in my brother's I don't know, dorm house thing they got going.
Yeah.
A lot of them are stagehands, and they worked at Copenhagen under
Yeah,
under
like
Tool.
Light Nation, right?
Yeah, as far as I know. And some of them helped with the tool setup, and they said it was surprisingly like easy to set up, but still took some time.
Mm.
The new album, though.
Yeah.
Since we're on Tool,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I've heard some again
I
with
think
the
I have
concert
to,
too,
like,
some mixed stuff.
I think I have to listen to it multiple times.
Mm?
I wasn't really impressed the first time.
No,
No, not really. Like there was not even a couple of songs. I'd say like a couple of parts of songs I really liked, like, and a couple of ideas in the music I liked, but I wasn't really like sucked into, like, not this trance feeling that got me into Tool. But I don't know if that's just me because I've been expected them for so long, and when I heard them the first time, I was like all new to like a lot of music. There was like everything opened up to me, like also Lamb of God, Slipknot, Gojira, Tool, all these bands that influenced me to even make music in the first place. So that feeling of the first time I heard Tool and discovered Tool, of course, I think that would outshine anything that they could make. You know, I think I expected too much
yeah.
because I was so impressed the first time I've heard them.
I can imagine when the first time you hear something like Tool and you're not like, and you haven't used a lot of your time and your life to music in general, and then you're Tool. I could imagine if like 20 to 25 years into a music career and you hear Tool, it's like, yeah, okay, it's pretty good. It's special, but sure, I've heard blah blah whatever.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine it having that long yet. And then when you're like I also was like 15, 16.
Yeah.
And suddenly heard 10,000 Days and
13
it basically just said, pfft. I mean, Jesus Christ, when an album came out, that was just but yeah, I've never heard anything like it before that. But to be fair, I didn't hear Lateralus or Anima or anything else like that.
I think I have like a top 3 of songs that just created this universe around me, you know, where I completely forgot where I was, who I were, you know, and I could just like walk around in this universe created by the music. And it's like when I heard, I think it's Wings of Mary Part 2. Is that the one with the bass, like do 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 do?
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's in my opinion my favorite song on that album.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite songs ever.
That's
but like
that's some good stuff.
But that's one of the songs where it was just I just forgot what time was, you know, for all of the song, and just like wandered off to this universe created by the music. I had it the first time with Astronomy, a cover by Metallica of Blue Oyster Cult.
I sat down on the day it came out, found it on YouTube of all places. Apparently,
What song?
The new album from Tool.
Me too, actually.
Yeah, I sat down, put it on, and I sat and listened to it all the way through. I hope it's the same with Lamb of God's Wrath.
Yeah.
Not to compare them, but when I heard it the first time, I was just saying, okay. Not what I expected, but fair enough. And then the more I heard it, legitimately just the better it got. There suddenly came several. I started to notice these several layers.
Yeah.
That the stuff suddenly had in some kind of like larger cohesiveness all the way through. And I'm hoping. I've only heard it that one time because I'm still a little bit kind of processing it in my head.
Me too.
But I'm hoping the next time that I will notice some stuff, some more, because what I heard. Sure, it was all right. There was actually a couple of songs. I think Tempest was one of them, and then there was like a little parabola thing at some point going on, and I really enjoyed that too. But it's not like I'm not sitting like name dropping one song after the other, and I think that kind of speaks to it because I really like Tool.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
Like
I'm kind of with you on it. It's a little.
But like, remember what I said about
What's
like
that?
when you first experienced Tool, you know.
I still remember. I remember vividly where I was the first time the pod was played to me. That was the first song I ever heard from him. I remember vividly where I were.
Did you play bass back then?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, of course that would be the first fucking thing to imprint on your mind.
Oh, it changed my whole way of thinking about bass. Yeah. When I heard that, I was just like, in the start, I was. So
this is how to do it.
That is a bass? That was my first question.
Yeah.
I couldn't comprehend that was a bass doing that. Not the first time I heard it. Whoa, what the fuck? A little funny one. I've been hearing Cannibal Corpse in like 4 years at that point. But
yeah,
sounds very different. So Alex Webster.
How did you like?
Really?
So did you start out with like death metal?
I went
like
from
Cannibal Corpse.
Where
did you start?
I went from hip hop.
From hip
So
hop.
for Eminem and Dre, 50 Cent, all that stuff.
Was that like the start?
From that to Slipknot. I've always heard music.
Yeah, of course.
I've always heard music. My dad, my dad's been playing.
Impression?
Of music?
Yeah, like the first genre or artist.
Pink Floyd, I think.
Nice.
They played Pink Floyd for me when I was still in my mom's womb, the wall. I'm not kidding. When the Goodbye Blue Sky comes on, I get so freaking chill. There's just something about it. That song really... But yeah, my first impressions of stuff, before I even really remember where I was or anything, I remember, like, Pink Floyd parts. One of the earliest memories I have is me sitting in a couch playing with a plastic turtle, and I'm moving to the rhythm after the teacher is standing there. You, yes, you, stand still at it. That whole part, I remember sitting and moving my turtle to the rhythm.
Oh, cool.
I remember that.
I'm a musician.
I mean, I just played. That was how I played. I just followed the rhythm of the music in the house because there was always music in the house. I didn't start playing music until I was like 13. I started pretty late, actually. A little bit in the schools around, but not real, like, seriously.
I started around 13 also.
The first time I ever played music was
12 actually, I think.
The first instrument I ever actually tried to play was drums, and I was 8.
Okay.
But I didn't want to.
I can't remember the first instrument I played, actually.
I didn't want to play drums.
Well, I guess unless you count, like... No, I don't remember the first, but I guess it would be, like, some percussion instrument in school.
Yeah, a little, like, doom, doom, doom.
Yeah.
I was behind a kit.
Something.
I was behind a whole kit. But yeah, well, I was 8, so coordination was, like, about starting to get there by now. You could hope. So, all those trips you take to India... Because you told me a little here, told me a little there.
A little bit of India.
But I could imagine that you are not even a 10th through all of the interesting stuff that you have.
I would say
that little noggin of yours.
That really depends on what you count as interesting stuff, because I think I covered half of, like, what I say to all people that I do in India.
All right.
And then I covered, like, depends on how much detail I should go into,
Yeah, I mean...
Or, let's say, how explicit I should get, or,
I mean, you're free to say whatever you want, but if something is...
So, like,
if you deem it inappropriate...
I can start... at the main reason that I'm down in India. Down? You wouldn't say down. Over? Maybe it's like...
Nah, it is
down. It's
southeast from here.
Yeah, southeast. It's at equator.
I would assume I am...
I would assume.
I'm not a geography teacher.
No, but it's like...
Don't own a globe.
It's down in Goa, so like the most southern part of India.
Yeah.
So it's like right with the equator.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's south.
There's a daycare down there that actually was my mother and her husband, who the first time they went on their honeymoon after they got married, they went to Goa in India. Oh. And down at the beach where they were staying, they met, I think it was actually the school, because every Saturday the school goes to the beach. And they tried, like we have faces in Denmark,
Yeah.
would you like to support this and this? Kind of the same thing, just like a little bit more genuine, I'd say, because when people come up there, like there's a lot of tourists at this beach, so they come up to take pictures, and they're like, "Hey, would you be interested in hearing about the school instead of just taking pictures with our children?" Which is kind of weird. Yeah, they just come up and take pictures with the kids, and it's like it's still strange. This is still a school. I mean, you wouldn't do that usually, but these are like...
Imagine that going to a field trip and suddenly people just automatically just running over and taking pictures of you.
What the fuck?
That must be weird, man.
But that is weird. That is weird.
Like, yeah, and how old are these kids? Like 6, 7, 8?
Between 3 and 6. It's like it's a daycare. It's not a. It's
shit! It's a daycare.
Yeah, so we're preparing the kids for school. The place we take care of, and then we send them off to another place, and still keep track of them, of course, and get sponsors.
Yeah, that seems a little.
Thanks, but so
that seems weird. Is that weird? Because
that is weird.
It seems a little strange.
Weird. Like I like what you said. Like, imagine you're on a field trip with a school with all the children. They're like sitting down having lunch, and suddenly like these Chinese people are just running up through the park like, oh, and they're like sitting down taking pictures with the children, just looking at them going.
That's
Yeah,
that is actually
that is weird.
Leave it to white people to do some fucked up, some unintentionally fucked up stuff.
But you don't even think about it.
I mean, shit.
That
is so,
in the start,
that is a strange thing to do.
I didn't see it as strange as I do now in the start. It was just a thing people did.
Yeah, but that's
but
the
then I compared it.
Yeah, I mean,
I did the comparison and I was like, that's messed up.
Yeah, it just seems odd, like an odd thing.
Why would you think that is like a normal thing to do?
I mean, I could imagine because they're on vacation, and on vacation you have a tendency just to like take pictures of. Oh, if I don't take pictures of it, I won't be able to remember.
But that's the thing.
I get that. I take pictures of myself. It's not. I don't do that.
As two things when they do this. Either they want to like go back and be like, see, I went to India and met all these cute children who's poor and everything, and I'm a good person. Deal, all that. Or they're just like, oh, this is like an attraction. This is like a souvenir picture. Like, see, this is me in India. Like, this is the most Indian thing. But they can think of.
I'm more on the whole like, hey, if you're actually having that whole mindset of you're taking the pictures because you want to show people that you're a good person, it's like, yeah, I get that if you're running around with them in like a week or a month or something like that. Sure, I mean, like a couple of pictures are probably going to be taken. You're having a good time.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, that whole like seeing them randomly on the beach going over and taking a picture, and I don't get that whole like, why would that signal to people that you're doing something good if you've only been there just taking a picture and leaving?
It's an Instagram generation, posted on Instagram, people just assume and they like and they share, and
I'm not a fan of that either, man.
Look at this.
Not personally though.
No, I'm not either.
I don't judge anybody who uses it because I have one for my band. Jesus. There's marketing.
Of course, but that's another thing. That's another thing. Yeah. It doesn't represent you.
No.
It represents.
There are people who actually have a living through just doing that.
It's practical stuff.
That's something that's really been weird to me. People living off of stuff like Instagram. I don't understand how. Somebody, please, if somebody can explain this to me down to the math, I just really don't get how do you get a living by taking pictures of yourself and putting them up on an app?
Post your answer in the comments.
Yeah, please, if you please, because I know some people, not like that well personally, but I know some people who live off this, and
I know some people who try to, and that's weird to me.
I just don't get, like, how does you taking pictures of yourself transfer into money unless I guess sponsorship deals with
also that, but like
stuff that you wear to clothes or something like that.
Think of
maybe?
it like when you were not a kid, but like when you got into music, like when the Beast bit you.
That's a good one. When the Beast bit you,
when
like
the Beast
that.
bit you, and you
That's
got
a good one.
I got posters still, and I'm like 23. I still got posters, pretty much because they've just been there for a long time. But
you should have seen my walls when I was a kid, dude. You couldn't see the walls.
But that also, but you are a metalhead, and that's the thing with metalheads. They're like hardcore, dedicated fans mostly.
I made some posters myself too.
But the thing is, what were we talking about? Instagram,
Yeah.
How can you make a living of it? It's like how you idolize like these people because you can like put yourself in their place. Like some part of you wanted to be like these people. And I guess it's the same part of them or the brain or something that looks at an Instagram profile and is like, I want to be like this. This is something to look up to. And when they see like a picture of them hanging out in a mansion or something, just for example, because that's like a popular thing on Instagram, like the fancy stuff. I just sum it
Yeah,
up.
so kind of like a poster when you identify with the person you
when you
suddenly see,
identify
you,
with, you know,
you feed that.
You also, I bet you too would identify with like the lifestyle of the persons you idolized. I know I did. Like, I looked at all the interviews of Metallica. I wanted to see the backstage footage because that was like the first metal band I got into was like Metallica. I eased myself in, you know.
I really went down to the deeps with Slipknot like a lot.
That was my like
I
number
have
2
books.
band.
I have books about
Yeah,
them.
okay.
And shit. I mean, like I'm
So-
at that level.
So see, you were a maniac on
Yeah.
Instagram. You would have been a maniac on Instagram had you been that type of person, I guess.
No, but that's the thing. All I got was not like I bought stuff to teach me about what they did because I was interested in who they were. Not like, oh, I want to do the same thing. I was interested in what did you do and what was the story about how you ended up doing that thing you did. Going up on stage, doing the things that they did at the level they did it, and with the masks on top of it, it's like that is just an interesting story. And I just had the books just for myself, not to like share with anybody else. And I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
Because on Instagram, it's like about sharing it. I just sat and watched the Slipknot concert DVDs all by myself,
I know
just
if that's
curled
the
up in my
difference. I
bed.
think that's the difference between like, not necessarily only
But I
you
can't
and
say that I would-
other people.
I
but,
can't
like,
say that it will be different if I was like maybe 2 years younger than my brother, who
so we're like
is
16. You would. He's 18, 19, 20, 23,
he's 22, man.
22. Close enough. Okay. Fuck.
So
No, I think like the
so yeah, if I was like a couple years younger than him, sure, he's like start 20s. So
no, but because I think you have the point
I
like
could maybe, but
like no, because you didn't.
it's still a bit different though.
You didn't just like look up to them. You were like, I want to be like them, but not like them. Like, I want to live like them, ish.
I want to do the same thing,
Yeah,
but in my own way.
That was it. You wanted to know how they got there. You know.
Yeah.
You wanted to know how they got there. You don't only swill like on their success.
No, I've always wanted to try like, and I've been
well.
interested in it to see like, oh, I mean, shit, that's a funny idea. I like masks. I like that whole idea. I've always liked to like dress up and stuff. Some of the cosplay pictures of me probably it demonstrates that pretty well. But I've always liked stuff like that. So when a band suddenly comes in, I played live role playing too. So like that whole thing was just natural to me, just to like dress up and shit and have some fun. So when they suddenly do it like mixed in with the whole idea of playing music, I mean my mind was just freaking blown. I was like, oh my god, these guys just found that perfect little middle way for freaks
much-
like me who like to be an
But
idiot.
had you like seen and heard Alice Cooper before that? Because or Marilyn Manson or something, because or like Rob Zombie, because to me it just sounds like you discovered like shock rock, you know, like the shock and the the visuals, war.
Dude, shock humor was my jam.
Yeah, okay.
Have you read some of the lyrics, man? It's kind of still a bit my jam.
No, I haven't.
I mean, I like being a very like cage shaker.
Yeah.
Because
What's the cage shaker?
when the whole steam is going left, you just demonstrably go right. You know.
Yeah, okay, like that.
That kind, just like sometimes doesn't really always work out, but
No.
I mean,
no.
fuck it.
It's
But
like the black sheep.
kinda. But that's, I mean, it's a little extreme. But yeah, that whole idea of like, yeah, we're the bad ones, and exactly the horror thing. We're too extreme for the normal people. Let's all group together and be too extreme. It's like it's a little contradictory because they all say they're loners, but we all come together and being loners together. So the whole idea of it's kind of flawed, but it's this little thing you can have with these other people that they feel a little bit like freaks too, like not accepted by stuff. So yeah, that whole shock thing, I identify with that. Not as much because I'm not as angry. But that whole thing, like that whole shtick about being a little over the top. I mean, shit, why not? It's fun.
No, but I think you like that also. In most things you actually do, you're a little over. You like to be like pushing the boundaries just a little.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Mostly because, hey, people just want the people just want to lay back and then just enjoy their life and let it be like that. Cool. I mean, I get that. It's.
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah.
Then it sounds nice, but I just have a little bit too much fire under my ass just to sit still, you know.
Just to tie to like the start of this podcast, like, but you get bored. That's the thing. Like you get bored quickly.
Yeah.
and I get you because like I'm the same. I can be satisfied a little bit easier than you can, I think.
Yeah.
But I get bored like in mid conversation sometimes and like just trying to look for a way to steer it somewhere else.
Yeah.
While I'm not even sure where I'm going, I'm just like I'm trying to steer to some way, looking for where to land on something I find interesting or something. Until I forget because it's boring, and then I find something else. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it happens. But we still really gotten any good India stories out of you yet. I'm
so down on the beach, they caught my mom and Brian. And told them about the school, and they were like...
They went down there, they were at the beach, they saw some kids
like,
with the weird
They went down there
people.
on their honeymoon for the first time. They were... the weird people's actually a later part, but...
Yeah, but I did show pictures, but whatever. That's still weird to me, man.
So that is weird.
So they ended up talking to him.
So they went down there on the honeymoon, they talked to somebody on the beach, they explained Mom and Brian about the daycare, and they were like, cool, makes sense. So they joined back then, as I was like 10 years ago, 2009. And they went back in 12, and I went with them back in 12, and been there every year since. Just to see, like, because they were talking a lot about what they experienced, I was like, this sounds cool.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I went down there, mostly to see, like, I wasn't that, I was like, that was like 12, I was not old enough to care about other people. I'd say like
yeah, let's put it at that.
Yeah, I would like to care about other people, but I didn't really. But I went down there not because of the daycare, just to see what they were talking about with the daycare and just like the Indian vibe.
Sure.
And the first thing I remember is like, fuck, this stinks. Like not the place is a bummer. I don't like this. Like, literally smelly.
Oh.
My God, this is a smelly country. But I arrived like late noon.
What does it smell like? I'm just
like something new every 50 meters.
Something new every 50 meters. That is interesting.
But I arrived like when I took the taxi to where we were staying. It was late noon, just about to get in the evening, so they were firing up all the bonfires to cook. And they use whatever's near, so plastic, fucking car tires.
To burn?
Do you know how long a car tire can burn, provided the right materials around it? I don't know.
I haven't burned any car tires yet.
I haven't either.
As of late, so
I have no idea actually. But it's just like they burn everything. So it's just I got out when they were starting up all their fires. So like for every 50 meters.
Oh, that was really.
There was a new smell, and it was so horrible. And it was like 5 minutes in, I was like, I'm gonna be here for a month. This is horrible.
That is very early on to get a
what I
thought
saw
like that.
because I was paralyzed by smell.
Oh shit!
My other senses just gave up.
But to be fair, we're two privileged white people in a very, very privileged part of the world.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think it's more just us like being used to something something.
I think it's more just being used to, because like
but that's just what we're just used to, the way that it is in our place. Not to say anything is better than the other, but I mean, you don't see people just making random trash fires and.
Oh, I didn't even know at that part.
No.
That was what it was.
Oh, you found out that later.
Yeah, I was just like, what the fuck is this smell?
Damn, I mean.
And I was alone, by the way. The first time I traveled down there, my mom and Brian had traveled earlier, and I traveled
down to India alone.
I went to India alone,
Damn,
and
dude.
Back. It's like
responsible young man.
It's a long bus ride, pretty much.
Oh,
maybe a little bit turbulent sometimes. No, but like when you fly, it's just it's like a bus ride. It's just very long. Not even more dangerous, I'd say. You could crash in a bus too.
yeah.
So
yeah, you can sleep in a bus.
Where was I? Yeah, like the smell thing.
There.
But no, also like I think it's just also the first impression I got. So that was very strong. But they went like 3 hours, and I didn't even like recognize any different smells, because like now I was like paralyzed visually from all the things I saw. And then also the sounds.
Like what, man? Like what? Tell me. I wasn't there, man. You gotta.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so like.
It's like all that crazy traffic in between everybody and shit.
It's like I gotta cook 6-7 years of India down to.
No, just your impressions of your first first time when you came down.
First ride, there's like I could explain so much. But like, okay, the strongest things.
Yeah.
Okay, let me take it from.
The things.
Let me take you like. On an inner journey from the airport to where I stayed. So I get out of the airport, and the first thing I actually think is like, damn, it's warm. It's like 35 degrees Celsius.
Woo.
And like moist. And I'm wearing pants. So the first thing I do is like kick off my shoes and socks and be like, I'm going barefooted. Didn't know that was a bad idea in India though, because they're like throwing shit everywhere,
Oh.
Also glass. But funny story though, every year since then I have not worn shoes from the time I arrived at the airport in Goa till the time I go home.
And your feet are still intact. Hey.
Yeah, only like 2 accidents, minor.
Yeah.
Nothing to talk about.
I mean, that's just a question of time.
So like I get out, moist. And hot. Get a cab, start driving. There's the whole smell story.
Yeah, the whole smell thing.
So
trash bonfires.
Like an hour in already, I'd say. Like we're driving like on a hillside, but I call it a mountain because I'm from Denmark.
Yeah, you're
so like
we
were driving this huge mountain on the side, but like on these narrow roads on a very steep hill.
Driving up in this Everest wannabe motherfucker.
Yeah.
Shit.
And I could look out like over like when you imagine, I wouldn't say paradise, but like paradise elements. All of them were there, and one huge tanker in the water. So that, and I'm like, yeah, that. And now I can see, yeah, that's pretty much India.
Wow,
if we could add an oil spill to the tanker,
yeah.
it would be there. But otherwise, blue water, apparently, blue water. Sandy beaches.
Go along around the beach, and you'll find a spot that starts being blue enough.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
When I was looking like down over there, and I just remember it was so steep, and all these palm trees were standing all the way down like 100 meters, I think, or something.
Yeah.
And just going out to this bay with clear blue water, and amazing. I was like, boom.
Yeah. Jaw drop.
Looking out. Next thing I remember clearly is hitting the fish market. Like, as I said, I arrived late noon evening, and they have fresh fish in the morning. They're fresh fish.
Fresh fish.
Fresh fish. I don't like to say that apparently. But like, at that point, it was so smelly. So that's.
Oh yeah, because they're all
another
just cooking
smell
up
part.
this fish everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
No, not like they were. No, the fish market. So raw fish. They were selling these fish.
Oh, and they've been
like
sitting
a
out
huge
since that
market.
morning?
Yeah, since the morning till like the noon.
Oof. With that good 35 degrees.
Yeah.
Did it have ice under it? Under the fish?
I have no idea. I was in a cab.
Oh. Snap. Yeah, you
It
could
was
just,
the smell.
you could just smell the fish.
Smell the fish.
Smell the fish. So get down there. You've been traveling alone.
I remember when I arrived, Brian waited for me with a Bloody Mary.
Very nice.
And I didn't like Bloody Mary. But I learned to like Bloody Mary. It's like beer. You know,
I like Bloody Marys. I think they're good.
Yeah, I do too now, but it's like the same as coffee and beer. It was a thing I tasted and was like, I don't like this, but I kind of like this, I think. Mostly because I'm supposed to like this, and also I feel good.
Yeah, I mean,
So I'm like,
after two or three of
think
those.
I think this is a good thing.
I can work with this.
Yeah.
I can work with this.
The same thing with the Bloody Mary. But I arrived and yeah. Now I'm in India. So stuff from India is the next chapter, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
Usually when people, because there's a lot of people who ask me, like,
I
what
could
do you do in
imagine.
India? So, and I'm like, a lot of stuff.
yeah, I mean.
So
yeah.
what would you like to know is usually the next thing I ask.
You're telling me you're helping these kids.
Okay, so you'd like to hear about the kids.
So, what I'd like to hear
I would just say,
about it is...
I would just say, I don't help. I do
All
help. You know, I help, but I'm not like a part of the school.
All right.
I'm with the school, you could say.
I'm curious about how they run their schools. At least of what you have seen.
Oh no, but I do know. I wouldn't say a lot, but I do know stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, this is
Because
everything.
I've been, I'm not a part I'm not like, I don't have like a title at the school or something like that. I don't donate to the school. I just bring stuff.
Yeah, but still, we have to
play.
remember everything you say
But I've
here
been a part of
is
it,
from
and I know-
your perspective and nothing else.
Yeah.
So, as a privileged white dude who takes down to India and gives a little bit of
Plays
a
a bit
hand,
of guitar.
plays a bit of
puts up
guitar,
swing set,
and is a bit of a temp for
throws
a
kids
month.
around.
What have you? So what have you seen? It's I could imagine it's vastly different from what
Yeah, of
we have
course.
here.
So, like, if we keep to like the schools, like talking about the school. Okay, so like the first thing is the priorities. What I say about the school, because like one of the priorities is like they have to learn ABC and to speak English, and they're like 3 to 6. Remember this? It's a daycare, but 3 we get them in, 6 we send them to the
Already
school.
at that point.
We get them to learn the ABC in English and learn them to speak phrases in English. Now, notice I say phrases in English.
Phrases.
They don't really learn. They learn a little bit of how to put English together, like grammars,
Yeah.
but mostly it's like phrases they need to like be kind to customers, offer customers things.
So yeah. So
Not necessarily, you know, but it's like they learn to say thank you, sir. You're welcome. Here you are. You know, they learn to greet people. Things like this is the phrases they learn usually.
So they
a
don't
lot
really-
of them is like humility, based on humility. You know, like
Yeah,
being
yeah.
thankful. Like
thank
phrases
you, sir.
that make, yeah,
thanks, sir,
exactly.
You're welcome. All this. Yeah, it's very
Being thankful, you know.
Yeah.
They learn to be thankful in English is how I see it. I know,
Yeah.
but I see them only from 3 to 6 years is also a thing to remember. Then we send them to like other private schools
Yeah.
with sponsors that came from our school. We get sponsors for them in Denmark, and they follow the children through
Yeah.
all of the schools, all of the education.
That's interesting, though, isn't it? That they're like catered to.
That's how I see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Of what you've seen, it's it's it seems interesting.
But also, I would say like another part is like India is filthy, and it's smelly, and it's a huge
I
environmental
mean,
disaster.
Goa is, you haven't seen all of India. But
No, but
what you've
but
seen
that's
of-
just what you know of India, more. But they teach the children to like pick up the trash, and don't throw trash.
Yeah.
And,
so we're trying to get a whole like
they're
another
like teaching them
social
about
custom thing going.
bacteria in the water and why you need to clean your hands. So also like that's why I bring in like the picture of all India, because that's a part of India all know of. Like it's not good for the environment, all the things they do, and they need like toilets and bathrooms, and there's
I didn't know it was that bad.
it's like one of the worst places.
I know that like India, pure environmental wise, isn't one of the most careful ones, but I didn't know that there was an on that essential level, like
One of
as you
them
say,
no-
like wash your hands, have bathrooms, clean the water,
Oh, yeah.
so stuff like. And I didn't know it was on that basic level. That like again, privileged over here, so
Yeah.
I personally don't know any better than that, but. Yeah, I
It's
could
like
imagine
one of the
that.
facts of India is like there's more people than there's toilets. I think it's 1/4.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
I'm not sure though, but
Well,
it
to be
makes
fair-
sense to what I've seen, because like the slum where the children live, we visit there often also when we're down there. It's like the huge thing last year was that they got toilets. Before that, they just like shut down by the pigs.
Damn. Because,
So
I mean, like,
and
one
that's and Goa is like the richest state in India. I think. I've been told
wouldn't
so.
know.
I didn't look it up actually, but I think so. I've been told so.
we could look it up.
We could actually.
Yeah.
No, just go with it. It's rich.
It's
It's rich. It's a rich part because there's
Yeah.
so much tourism down there. So yeah, that's part of the school. So that they learn also. What else can we say? They learn about the water also, because like a lot of Indians don't know how to swim.
Oh,
Apparently,
but so
Most
on a
of-
normal one of those normal days. I mean,
It's-
what do you do? You go
like
down.
a normal
you,
day.
Yeah, and then
Okay, let's.
one of the days when you go down there. I mean, what happens?
There's a lot of reading English. Like,
in an Indian school, go figure.
yeah, and I find it very hard because I'm Danish in an Indian school with Indian children 3 to 6 years old, trying to get their attention towards a English book with pictures,
Yeah.
trying to learn them in English because I don't speak their language either. Trying to learn them in English how to speak English.
Oh, man.
through a book, and I'm Danish. And
It's like teaching
it's
somebody.
a mess.
That's like
It's a
teaching
mess.
somebody an instrument only by going over and just taking the chords and looking at them.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, yeah, that's the level of communication we work on.
Say a sound, hope they copy it properly.
I would say that was in the start. I did that actually. Most now, I'm quiet during the lessons. During the lessons, I'm not really participating, but when they have recess, some of them are playing and I'm playing with them, but others like there's some of them I also play guitar for them.
Yeah.
So there's some of them that has like a bigger interest in instruments than others. So like sometimes they call me Baya, which means brother. They call
Aw.
all men uncle and all women Didi.
Didi.
Yeah, Didi, me, which is like aunt. So like Didi, uncle, and Baya. If you're a young man, it's yeah. So if there's like one of the kids who I know them like for 3 years, you know, and they're like Baya, ding, 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 ding. I'm like, I'll take them back and like try to teach them like if you hold like this, you get this sound. Like yeah,
Yeah, this is a major. This is a minor.
you're pretty much like.
Yeah.
Like frowning and
Yeah.
making a
Yeah.
no, this is minor and this is major, you know, and he's
exactly.
like, oh, what man? And he gets to like take the chord himself. I'm like positioning his finger, and he's strumming, and he's like, I've never
His
seen
mind is
any
blown.
Danish kid that excited, over
No.
anything. They get a new iPad and they're like, "Oh, cool, that's what I wanted."
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
I could.
Yeah, so be grateful, bitch.
Yeah, that's the thing about people over here that I can, especially when you hear stuff like that. I've heard a little bit like that around, and to me, it just really seems like a lot of us Westerners, myself included, a lot of us just,
There's no blame in being a Westerner,
for forgetting to take our luxuries for granted. It's
that's
an
the
old
thing.
song, and so many has been singing it. But there's some truth to it.
Yeah,
right?
but that's where I
shit.
say you shouldn't be ashamed of being a Westerner and thinking like that, because
No, I'm not at all.
we're just conditioned to think like that because we live with it all the time. And if you want a new car and you get the new car, by time the car will get boring as everything else get boring. You take it for granted.
That's like a part of that whole shit. I actually can't remember. I heard this nice philosophy podcast the other day, and one of the examples that was brought up, that like one of the things, like one of the main
I
reasons
think that's philosophized this.
with Stephen West.
Yeah, with Stephen West.
Shout
because
out
I
shout
listened
out to him,
that.
by the way, because
shout out to Stephen West.
shout out to Stephen West. To philosophize this on Spotify. It's
Really?
good stuff. It's good stuff.
Great stuff.
But
Best stuff.
one of them that I heard was that whole like
Yeah, but I
striving
yeah.
for being, and it's
I got
like
it from him also,
and I love this example of it. So you're 6 years old. You get this baseball cap. You strive for this baseball cap. You wanted this thing. Now you have it. What you gonna do for the rest of your life? Just sit down and stare at it?
Yeah.
And be
Or
this
you're
is my
like-
baseball hat.
You're like really quoting him, like.
But
more or less, yeah.
it's a total quote because it's
Because
it's
I
just what you
remember I
said.
heard those words.
Exactly. It was just such a good example.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, it
paraphrasing a bit, but yeah, it's otherwise pretty much a quote.
Same with the car.
Exactly, that whole
He
thing, like,
mentioned that too. I
yeah,
think.
that's actually what I thought about it. That whole, like, you buy the car, and then, sure, it's your car, it's new. I wouldn't have never owned a car. I could imagine it's a little bit about like owning an instrument somehow.
Yeah, of course. It's
That like you buy something
owning
new, you're
anything, like,
you're very
You said the baseball cap. right?
exactly.
Baseball cap or car.
And again, the whole
Doesn't matter.
point of our existence is that whole striving thing. So like when you have this, sure, there are some people who, I would assume, sit down and are satisfied with what they have, and
wish I
kudos to them for doing that.
I wish I could like name drop and quote like that, because I'm thinking about some philosopher, like I think it's late 18th, start 19th, who is like talking about the will to power, the will to be, the will to live, I think, or something.
The whole willpower
just the
thing.
will.
Actually,
I
will.
think it's just the will.
It's what it come down. It's what it
It's
come
like
down
everything.
to.
I think also Nietzsche actually.
The
is
will
talking
is
about
striving.
The will. Yeah, striving. Yeah, will.
I can't remember if it's Nietzsche though, and somebody will probably know.
No, but he mentions it, I think.
Oh yeah. I mean, his whole thing is that like
My whole thing here is
you're
I think.
you're either the camel, the lion, or the child. In the whole existence spectrum, as far
he
as I
said that
remember,
also.
that's Nietzsche.
Yeah, also that.
And it's kind of like the same thing explained differently, and I would guess so. It's more like the whole idea of you are at this certain level, but if you don't choose to go any further, it's still your choice.
Yeah.
But most people still have this, like, even the freaking camel has a striving for something. It's more like a basic thing, I guess, that we're at. Because, I mean,
Yeah, but like
when you're
isn't
there, you
really, like, in philosophy you might call that like the striving or something like
But
that. But
that's the will to live.
a biologist or evolutionist would say like that's just like survival.
Yeah,
That's
was
just like
probably the survival instinct. Yeah,
like no matter what, you just gotta survive. You gotta
but here's the thing:
keep doing
we distract
keep
ourselves.
doing something.
Well,
You
that's
don't have to do more, but you have to strive at something.
That's it. I would say that's the whole reason we strive. That's to like distract us from the whole point of existing. The whole point that there is no point.
Yes.
There is no point to existence
okay, so
because and distraction.
A distraction,
a distraction from the absolute truth that in the end we're just gonna die and become nothing. And we use striving to distract us from that fact.
Well,
getting the new car, getting the new instrument.
Distractions.
Buying a couple of beers, sitting down and making a podcast with a good friend. You know?
Following some good-looking dude on Instagram.
Exactly. Shit like that, you know? I mean, just...
Hoping to be them without learning to be them.
Probably. The whole idea is still that we distract ourselves from the inevitability of death.
Yeah, I'm just saying it goes down even to the small parts, like looking at Instagram.
Exactly. It totally does.
Like going
totally
through
does.
Your Facebook feed. I know this is like details, but that's how I feel some days. Like, if I get caught in Facebook, I'm like, what am I avoiding? Because if I get caught in like mindless Facebook feed, like there's something, I think there's something I don't want to think about since I'm engaging in something mindless and non-productive. Since I'm just passing time, I'd say. Yeah. I think I'm always... I don't know if there's any truth or to anything about what I'm saying, but that's like... I'm trying to avoid thinking about something.
No matter how you put it, it's your selective truth.
Yeah.
In either way.
No doubt.
But the funny thing is, I have a little of the same thing going with YouTube. I don't sit I don't sit too much on Facebook. But the thing is, I have a tendency to, when I put something on YouTube, a lot of times I end up doing something else in the meantime.
Yeah.
Because it ends up not being interesting enough. Just exactly interesting enough to get my attention the first 10 minutes.
Like, you were just trying to entertain yourself.
Yeah, it's like...
But that's my question, like, why are you trying to, like, just entertain yourself?
Entertain yourself. That's what we're saying. You're on it, man. You're on it.
Why would you just want to entertain yourself, like, but to pass time? Why wouldn't you be productive?
Sometimes it's nice winding down.
Yeah, but winding down.
I mean that whole
but
that whole process.
Winding down for me wouldn't be like mindless. It would be mindful, maybe, but not mindless.
But that's the difference, you know. I mean, there are different ways of kind of like relaxing. Well, one of my favorite things to do is actually I don't really relax. I don't decompress as much when I come home. I kind of do that when I sleep.
Yeah.
But before I go out, I usually suck a little bit of energy in. I sit down, I put something on, I start practicing a bit, and doing my little things, making some food, stuff like that. Doing a little meditation sometimes before I have to go out, and then I kind of like just charge before I go out, because when I finally come home, it's like no matter how much happened that day, when I fall asleep, I sleep. It's been working pretty good so far.
Sleep working for you?
Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy. You should try sleep. It's really good for you.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing. Like, instead of trying to just like, oh, when I get home I have to like do this and this and that, I end up doing that anyway, because if you can't fall asleep, you can't fall asleep. I mean, then you're just gonna sit and do something. So might as well do something that makes you relax, right?
But that's the thing.
I'm thinking
that's not mindless.
But what I do sometimes I game. I mean, yeah, I love games, but I mean, I wouldn't really say that it's gonna expand my mind. Sitting down and playing Ori for the 500th time.
This is also, I'm not very subjective about this, because I'm also like, when I play games, for example, I allow myself to play a game. For example, that's how I view it, how I see it for myself. I'm allowing myself to play a game, because, in my opinion, it's the kind of slack that I need. When I need time off, I'm still looking at it as slack, but I allow myself to have it because I need to like relax.
Sometimes you just need to sit down. I just
need to fucking relax. Sometimes you just need to like, maybe mindlessly. I wouldn't even say mindlessly playing, like, let's say SimCity. I fucking love playing SimCity.
SimCity? I've never
creating
been to those.
I love that. I love.
I played
everything.
Tropical 4 in a long time. It's a little bit the same thing, kind of, but not as expansive as SimCity, I could imagine, because that's a long series.
Yeah, but I would say that's. I think I'm not the right person to talk about this with, because I view relaxing time as slack time. Like, I want to be productive all the time.
Most people need
I'm not
slack
good
time.
at being productive all the time, but I'm trying to always. Like, that's my striving, you could say.
Yeah.
Like, when I sit down and look out in the air and relax, I'm not even relaxing, you know. It's because I've told myself, now I need to look down, and now I need to sit down and look out in the air for 1 hour thinking. Like that's a thing I've planned to do for relaxing, you could say.
Damn.
So even then, it's kind of like, now you have to be productive at relaxing for an hour.
I am simply just not that structured. That's
But I'm really not either. It's just it's not like I do this like 1 hour every day, unless it's Sunday and it's my mother's birthday or something like that. It's not like disciplinary or something. It's just like, I make up my plan every day, and if I can feel that I need to relax, I'm getting stressed. Okay, then sit down and relax. And like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna relax, and I do relax. I'm like, I love just being with myself, thinking about stuff, because you know, I'm not allowed, you could say, when I'm on the job or making music, to just think about irrelevant stuff, because I have to be productive, of course. So I have to think about the right stuff for the opgave.
The task.
For the task.
The task at hand.
Yeah, the task at hand. I have to think about the right stuff for the task at hand, so I can't let my mind wander off as easily to thoughts that is just mere speculations. So like that 1 hour where I'm just dedicated to not doing anything, I'm just speculating and having mind experiments about stuff that will never be relevant to anything. But I just enjoy thinking about all the stuff, you know. I collected a little bit of knowledge there, and I enjoy that time where I can sit down and like put them together in weird sorts of way, like finding connections between different things. Even if it doesn't have a connection, I try to figure out, but how could it have a connection?
But isn't that just like, I mean, that just sounds like what I do in meditation time.
Yeah, so
like
this is my meditation, you could say.
Yeah,
but it's not structured or
no.
anything. It's just like, sometimes I sit down for an hour because I need to sit down for an hour. So I make myself sit down for an hour, and I enjoy that hour. But then I have to be productive, or else I get stressed.
That's exactly what I do with the meditation. Like, that thing. Being like, okay, I can feel I'm a little bit stressed. I need to get some stuff out of my head.
This active meditation.
Yeah, that's...
I do the same thing with guitar. With guitar, when I play guitar, when I don't play anything, or particularly specific.
Anything specific.
Yeah, anything. When I don't play anything specific, but I don't try to write anything.
Just jamming.
I don't even try to jam. Just like, this note is good. A little bit of the. Oh yeah.
So playing guitar.
Really slow. Yeah, but really slow jamming. You know, just listening to the notes when they come out. Like, find some good effects. And I just like zone out for I don't know how long until I wake up again. Like, and that's like, I call that active meditation, because I'm like open-eyed, playing guitar. I'm still engaged in playing the guitar, but I'm not like really there. I'm not like really engaging. I'm just like, it's just happening and I'm enjoying it. And I do the same thing when I sit down. Like, I'm like, now I speculate, or now I think about what I wanted to think about earlier.
That's funny. I play music so differently than you. Not that I can't sit down and then just go on one note. But
that's probably why I didn't ever, you've been talking about scales and theory to me for a long time, because I've been playing guitar for a long time and I haven't known them. And it really didn't catch my interest that much, because guitar wasn't really the thing that interested me, because I wasn't interested in really playing it. I was interested in hearing it. And I think that's why I love theory and scales and learning about them now, because I'm composing music electronically. So for me to hear it, I need to like compose it, and I can take my time. On guitar, you have to learn a lot of stuff just to play it, and then you have to learn a lot of just to compose.
You have to learn a lot of stuff, but then you have to practice it a lot to actually learn to play it properly.
And then you can jam.
Then you can actually start,
Then you can jam,
experimenting with stuff and writing shit.
On the computer, I have time. I have all the time, and I can move notes around. My jamming is moving notes around until I have a good harmony. You can do that on guitar, but it's a really long process, and before you can begin that process, you have to know a lot of stuff. You don't have to hear.
I've seen a little bit. My brother is sitting in the playing a lot around with doing electric music, and he's really come a long way.
Yeah.
I've been looking him a little bit over the shoulder from time to time.
Of course.
I want to learn stuff.
And musician.
And what I've seen is, I mean, what annoys me about it, and I'll take that first. What annoys me about it is that a person that has no knowledge about music,
right?
No, I mean, actually,
knowledge of theory.
I wouldn't
say knowledge of music, knowledge of theory.
No, not knowledge of theory, how to do it. They can just like get the machines to do it for them, but.
Oh, I don't do that.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I've heard people who use these tools and still are able to write some absolutely fantastic fucking music.
Yeah.
So I can't fault them on using it, but it still annoys me a bit that like being a person using so much of my time and life on it is legitimately suddenly being overdone by a machine that goes in and says there we go.
Undermined, right?
Then a little bit, but again, I mean, they write some of these people who write mainly on computer. I mean, a lot of them know a lot of shit, a lot more than me. Jesus fucking Christ, most of them do.
Yeah.
But still, seeing these people actually being able to write it without knowing stuff, that can annoy me a bit. But then again, to the good stuff about it, it gives every single person the possibility to express themselves through music.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like that ambivalent.
And that
ambivalent.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, I'm a little annoyed about it, but that's like my personal gripe.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna fault them for that.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely gonna look at it and sometimes it'd be a little like, yeah, but it'll still sound better with a natural bass,
But that's the thing.
But, I mean, that's a me thing, and I'm totally taking it on me, but...
I remember, like, 7th grade,
shit, some
when
stuff they can write, these people,
but
man.
when I started playing guitar and everything, I was like, yeah, real music has real instruments. Fuck those DJs, because going up, they press play and they get millions of
and then you see Pendulum, and then your mind fucking blows.
Oh, not even for me. Like, I heard it and I was like, yeah, that's good music. I didn't even think about. I was just.
They play that on instruments, dude, live.
I know.
I
learned a lot since then, but back then I was like, real instruments, that's real music. Then I began my journey into like the computer part of music. And found out, holy shit, Skrillex doesn't just press play. How the fuck did he do this? And I'm like on a strong 3 years in making electronic music. And I'm still like, how the fuck did he do that?
Yeah.
Like,
how did you think about taking those things together and making it work like he did?
Sorry? No,
my brother showed me how to do it, and I was like, how do you think about doing stuff like that? It's a stroke of genius.
I'm beginning to think in those ways, luckily, because I want to, so of course I am.
Hey.
But the thing is, how I make music is still, like, from a musician's perspective, you could say, without, like, undermining the people who doesn't know theory. But I still play instruments, but on a keyboard and using plugins and everything. But I still like think in terms of like my guitar when I play music on the computer and typing and stuff. And I can't like make anything like these people who doesn't know theory, who has plugins that make the chords for them, makes everything like sound good for them. You know, you have plugins that you can give them a note and they will work out.
Yeah, and they'll work out the full progression of chords and stuff like that. Yeah, I've seen that before.
And I tried that. I can't make music like that. I really can't, because I don't know how those plugins work best, because I haven't learned those plugins to play those plugins.
You have to know what notes fit together.
Yeah, I learned guitar, so I put in those notes. I listen for them and I think about the theory I know, and I put in those notes. I can't use like a plugin.
C, E minor, and G.
I don't know how to. Yeah.
C, E minor, and G, and you have every rock song in the 80s. So if you're...
No, I'm good to go.
Yeah. And we're back. All right, so we were going out on a total tangent on the music part, but to be honest, screw it.
Yeah.
Because can't really remember where we came from. Next. There we go. All right. Now, you've got a tattoo, dude.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. That's your first one, right?
Yep. Yep.
So, for the people listening, what am I looking at?
You're pretty much looking at, like, for everyone who knows the is it the character for Om?
Yeah, the written character for Om.
Om, like this holy Hindu character. The holiest.
The holiest.
It's not like a character. It's like in a vowel, like the holiest vowel. I think it is.
Yeah. Okay. A holy vowel. Yeah.
Yeah, like the holiest vowel.
The holiest vowel.
To utter. That's why, like, the monks meditate on Om.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, like, that's why they chant Om.
Oh, I thought they did that for the flow.
No, Om.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So, yeah, like, but don't get confused. It's not the character of Om. It's like...
But it looks like
inspired by it, but the little thing... Now, let's start by
You actually have it here on your shirt.
Yeah.
So we can actually do a comparison.
No. It's like different. Yeah. Carrot.
Somewhat at least.
Yeah,
so the normal one, and I'll put some pictures of it later, and your tattoo, if you please.
Yeah.
But we're looking at something that for us would look like a 3.
Yeah.
With a little tail on it.
Would look like a 3.
Over on top of that, we have basically a crescent moon just put down, so it basically is on the bottom.
Funny you should say that, because that is actually what it represents.
Ah, that's cool.
For the Islamic part of religion, like the Om sign character is for, I think it's for, like, Hinduism, Catholicism, Christianity, and Islam. I'm not sure. It's different. And that's, like, kind of embarrassing when I got something that resembles it tattooed, but it's like it's the unity. It resembles the unity of different religions. So, like, the half moon.
Not bad.
It is actually, like, did you call it a crescent moon?
A crescent moon, laying down on the bottom.
If you notice, like, the Turkish flag also got, like, that moon.
I've noticed that. I've thought about it a little bit, but not enough.
It resembles, like, Islam.
Oh, I didn't know.
So that's the part.
So over that 3 with a little tail out from the middle, we have that little crescent moon and then a little spot. What you have is something that is clearly more made like an actual 3rd number, as we use in the West, connected
30.
To what looks like.
But that's the thing you would say.
Like little tail.
This is the crescent moon.
Yeah, exactly. So
right?
so
this
we have
down here is not a part of this, actually.
No.
It's but usually there would be like a C. It's like a 3, and there would be like what kind of looks like a C on the other side.
You've taken that C and made that into something that looks like a
Nil.
No, yeah.
O.
And over that we have a little crown.
That would be the crescent moon. That's the crown.
Yeah, that's the crescent moon. So
to sum it up, it's the number 30, pretty much. It looks like Om, but it's the number 30 with a crown over it. Yeah, long story short, it's because, like, the room where we have a studio and the place we rehearsed with Getaway, the metal band, where we recorded, like, everything we ever recorded, I think.
And where we're recording right now.
Is room 30. So it's dedicated to like that's the crown. It's like the kings of the room 30. Like everybody who came here to record anything and went out here happy, because I have never had anybody up here who didn't fucking love being here and like
Nah, man.
just enjoyed the space, the freedom it brings, you know.
Oh, the hours that have been spent in this room.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's so it's not only like a
nice
personal
hungover
representation
days.
for that whole mindset that you carry pretty well, but it also
Not
has
necessarily. It's just like
Well,
it's
I mean,
a part
trying
of
at least.
it. Like
and then like for the rest of the room and all the things that it carries with it. Like even when you're not in this room anymore, it's still gonna
it's
be like
like-
a big part of your earlier life.
but it's like I like to look at this room and like it is kind of my home, you know. So I like to say like Jordan Peterson says, clean up your room, because the room is a representation of your inner self, and like this room is a representation of my inner self, and I've introduced so many people to like so many things up here, like from what I've made up here with people, you know, music where they record something, I mix it and master it, and they're like, holy shit, I didn't know you could do this with me writing lyrics, and I'm like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, man.
And that brings me a kick, and it happened in this room, you know. So it's like the room has its own personality, which is me, I'd say.
So that's your first one.
Yeah.
Did it hurt?
Nah.
Nah.
Kind of stinked.
Stinged a little bit.
Yeah.
To be fair, you've gotten it on a place on the leg where there's fairly a lot of meat to go into. You're not really doing it on bone anywhere.
Is the calf right?
Yeah, like
so
on
the left side of the calf, but
on the left side,
a
left leg
little
of the
bit of
calf.
it goes to the back of the calf, and I remember he said like this is going to hurt a bit. Usually people say like the back of the calf is one of the worst parts to get tattooed.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet though.
And I just remember like he was doing like this little bit down here.
Yeah.
Like the last bit, I was like, it's okay. It's okay.
I'm fine.
And he was like, do you want to take a break? Like grab a smoke. I'll just put something on. I'm like, kind of, but I don't want to like pussy out. So he just went on, and I think he like this part he needed still to like color up, and I was like, I gotta take a break.
Shit, man.
It was like that hurt. Really.
I've actually heard from people
That hurt?
that
that hurt.
Yeah, that hurt. I've heard from people that have been like that've gotten making like huge tattoos. That especially if you're still going on the same area after you come in, that almost makes it worse after a break than if you just continue on, because then I could imagine it's something about that your nerve endings actually get a little time to start healing, and then when they start healing, you go in and then you start
Maybe
all
not
over
healing,
again.
but like closing.
Yeah,
so like
close.
start
Yeah,
healing.
they start
they're
healing a little
starting to
bit, and
close or
then
something, yeah.
and then you go back in, and then you
Yeah,
basically just rip everything that it's just made all up again.
Yeah, I think maybe it's time. Maybe it's because, you know, if you get like 5 minute break, it gets sore. You know, your body is like, oh, it's over, and then you get sore. But
Yeah,
when
exactly.
you get the tattoo, you're like, your body is like, oh shit, this hurts. I better numb the skin. The nerve end is just
exactly.
getting numbed from the pain. You know.
All right,
It's good. It's good.
it's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that one thing though that I noticed, I got a little ink myself some weeks back, and a lot of it
Like the Mario, right?
my Mario theme, and the stuff that I had beforehand. Is that one?
Yeah.
Sure, thanks. So the whole part I had before was already drawn up, but I had to get a new line on it. And she drew all that, and in the start I was like, it's okay. And she started with Mario, that is sitting like basically where my shin goes down to my foot, that like piece of skin in between. He's like on that. that like whole part that's
like down here.
Yeah. Like this will like you have your shin, and then like that whole thing that's basically the part of your ankle that goes into 90 degrees.
What kind of scene?
I had the tendon. A tendon is scene in Danish.
Scene.
Which also can be translated to a stage. So yeah, no worries. Then Danish is very confusing. But that little part in between the foot and the shin, Mario sits, and that she started with that, and I was like, it's not that bad. And okay, that was the lines. Then she got that and all that done, and then she started coloring, and I was like, you know what? Let's get the worst one over with first. So start with Mario. So she did. And I'm telling you, man.
So like you were knocked out round 1, but had to go on.
No, I
Okay.
I fucking just took it. I mean, I am yeah, sure. It's not pleasant to be tattooed physically, but I don't really mind it that much. In the end, after
it's not like it. I would say it doesn't actually hurt, but it stings.
To be honest, I kind of missed it a bit. That whole feeling of actually.
That's it. It's a weird pain.
It's
like, oh, it hurts so good.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm not really sure. I think I got like a deeper part of my sexual self revealed.
Why does it hurt so good?
Yeah, why does it hurt so good? I'm not sure what's happening.
Oh, that's but yeah. I mean, one of the first things I thought when I got it when I started getting ink again, I was like, "Yep, I've missed this." But one thing was for damn sure the whole part with Mario, getting him colored totally up, and I have like a coin, a part of some bricks that you normally see in the first ones.
Yeah.
So like he has 2 rows. You have Mario on the bottom. And you have a row of bricks with a question block and a mushroom on it. Over that, it's kind of like the first part of like stage 1 that you see like the first 2, a little condensed. And then like on top you have like that second row of bricks, and there's coins on top of those. The bricks, absolutely. The bricks all the way to the right. They have on top the most right part, and then the coin that's on top of that brick cube, that was not fun. That and Mario, those 2.
And I would say we'll add a picture of this later.
Yeah.
And I'd advise anybody who listens to look at it after you heard this explanation, because you won't follow unless you saw it.
Yeah, true. No, I'll put it up. But yeah, that whole section on top to the right, that's directly on the front of my shin. I heard that because if you don't have that kind of sucked.
If you don't have any fat or meat underneath, like the skin, if you just look at skin and bone, I've heard like I asked because like I'm a curious guy, so when I got tattooed, like I had a million questions for this guy, like a million questions.
You've been one of the fun customers.
But he enjoyed it though.
Yeah.
He was like,
I can imagine.
Yeah, but one of them was like this, like I heard this and this about the bone and the skin, and he was like, yeah. Most think it's because like you hit the bone, so like it's not really that they hit. If you hit the bone, it's like the nerves are more sensitive.
So that's why I kind of like, because when I got tattooed there, I kind of like I could feel like a little thing like up of my leg.
It's a mixture of like the nerves being more sensitive and like the unpleasant feeling that it's your bone is actually vibrating from the needle.
Exactly.
So it's like he's saying it's not like that it hurts more. It hurts a little bit more, and also you get the sensation of your bone like vibrating. I wouldn't know, but like
that's the thing I felt.
He told me
that's what I felt when she went up on that. It felt really weird having that.
Yeah, unpleasant weird.
No, just like hitting your funny bone, you know?
Yeah,
that in the arm.
That hurts.
Yeah, well, it hurts when you hit it, but like that sensation after that, like strange. What the hell is this?
Like you could describe it as you know ticklish, but it's not. It's like kind of if you slipped wrong on your left arm and you wake up and like, oh god, my left arm has to be amputated. I can't feel it. And you're like, what is... And then it begins to wake up. and you got like this and far.
That's some different though. It's that whole like the second after it stopped hurting, that whole like weird vibrating sensation. That one I felt when she went up the shin. And next time I'm gonna get they can see that in the picture as well. That the bricks aren't colored, but I'm gonna I'm gonna get them colored next time, and hopefully some outlining for the next parts. And a lot of that is gonna be brown with the wider one with like 4 or 5 needles in it, and then we're gonna put color in that and go back and forth, and that on my shin, that's gonna be like woo.
Yeah, because I remember, when he began, I was like, people said this should hurt. I was like, it don't. Yeah, it stings. It doesn't. But that was him outlining.
Yeah.
Like the tattoo. Then he colored it all black, and I was like, okay, I can see how this like hurts. Yeah.
Here's the funny thing. I thought it hurt more to get outlines than it does getting color.
No.
That single
No.
single fucking needle for me, that was the worst parts.
But I think that's like, I feel like that was like a scalpel. And
it's such a different pain to me. When they do it with the wide ones, it's such a different pain. So, and I don't know. It might be me that's been. I've been getting a lot of blood samples when I was a kid at some point. So that like one prick feeling.
Yeah, okay. You got a lot of bad memories associated with it.
Exactly. So like when that one prick feeling comes, I would guess. Yeah, no, I'm not a psychologist, but I would guess it has something to do with it, because when that one prick feeling just comes all over, it's like I get like a more like mental discomfort.
Yeah, no,
from
I
it,
get that. But
but when the wide one comes on, it's like, okay, it hurts.
It's mental discomfort. It's like, it's not that it hurts, it's that it's unpleasant, right?
Yeah, it's unpleasant. Yeah.
I found like this, like the coloring was way more unpleasant for me. Like the outlining was like, that was the weird part. That was like the.
I thought this would hurt part.
Why do I kind of enjoy this part?
Yeah.
Like, it feels, and it really did feel like he was like ripping with a scalpel to me, and I was like, it's kind of nice.
It feels strange.
But it's kind of nice. And he also said though, like this took like what, an hour and a half.
Maybe it has some stuff you should try out at some point.
Maybe I should start with like a 4-5 hour tattoo, and then be like, okay, I'll hit the swinger club.
Just somebody just smacking it across the face. I saw a guy once. One thing I've never really gotten. I met this guy on the way home from a bender once, and he showed me this tattoo in his hand of this symbol from an anime show called Naruto.
Yeah.
Of the village of the Hidden Leaf, which is the village that he's from, on his hand. And I asked him, then I was pretty much into it at that point. I was like, oh, that's cool, man. When did you get that? And he told me, like, oh, yeah, I got it at one point when I was totally drunk with some friends. I've never understood that thought process of being like, I'm going to get a tattoo when I'm shit-faced. It's like, you're permanently engraving something into your skin, and you're going to make a decision of what you're going to get made in a drunken stupor?
The thing is,
like, wow.
I would never do that, but I get it.
Really?
Like, I got one. I got one piercing. This one.
Oh no! Somebody's phone is on. Shame.
So, on the way to like, I think it was actually my first Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Metal festival. Me and like Hessen. And two guys. Me, Croffer and Hassen.
Croffer and Hassen.
With friends.
With friends.
Like two guys from my school. We're going to like our first Copenhagen metal festival.
Yeah.
All excited, and we, by the way, worst idea ever to get a piercing. But that was the idea. Let's get like
at Copenhagen.
No, not at Copenhagen, but just on the way to
right.
Copenhagen.
On the way.
On the way to Copenhagen, we all got pierced in our left earlobes. By the way, I had like infection in that ear for like 6 months.
Oh man!
Just because like it got so bad from Copenhagen, like
you got it just before
you got the
festival,
dust,
dude. That's
dust in the wind,
like everything.
Yeah, like
sleeping
like
in a tent, not rinsing it,
like a festival, you know,
Yeah,
like
you're at a
festival
festival.
conditions.
You're at a festival conditions with a brand new hole in your earlobe.
Shitting in a plastic box, you know, all of it. And then
Gotta
on top
bring a
of
new-
that, like going into a shitload of mosh pits.
You're at Copenhagen.
And luckily for me, like I had a couple of friends who were like not that tall.
Huh?
A couple, I say, like I had 2 friends who
As-
were not
as in
that
the
tall.
actual
Like
definition.
we were 4 guys who got like the earring, the pierced ear.
How many of you still have it?
All of us have it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
of
cool.
course, Of course.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was like, no, we were serious about it, and I'm still am. You know, it's like it's one of my greatest memories.
We'll carry these
Like,
rings
because-
in our ears forever.
No, but it's like it's one of those moments where I
That's sweet, man.
did something that is absolutely not me, and that is like, why the fuck did I do that? And I'm like, that reminds me I can do that again. I can always do that. Apparently, I haven't. Yeah.
Funny
I
enough
was
with your
never-
tattoo.
Really, I was like, I want a tattoo, I want a piercing, but I was always thinking of myself like, I'm not a guy who should get a tattoo or get his pierced.
Fuck it, man. If you
But a
want to
part of
get
me-
it, man.
Yeah, but I'm like, I can feel that compared to you, I'm a little bit more restrained guy.
Well, yeah, I
No.
mean, don't get a tattoo in your
No,
freaking.
but
I mean, yeah, sure,
you
get a tattoo in
remember-
the face if you want to,
No,
but like,
you
do
remember
some
the other
consideration,
day,
you know?
The other day we were looking at these personality types.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I'm the overthinker. I'm the thinking guy. So
Yeah.
it's not that much that I don't want to, or that I'm like.
It's a
That's
reference.
not me. I'm not supposed to. I'm just thinking too much about it.
It's a reference. We're talking about the Myers-Briggs personality tests.
Yeah.
Which, if you believe in stuff like that, I mean, sure, go ahead. They're pretty interesting. They can teach you some stuff if you're willing to actually read the whole thing. It's
But
it's
is
pretty damn extensive.
It's like everything else. You're supposed to see it as like a kind of guide.
Yeah, it's a
It's
little
like
guideline.
I think it's a Buddhist saying, like if I point at the moon, don't look at my finger. Look at what I'm pointing at. Like don't look at the thing that points.
That's
Look,
good.
Look at
I
what
like
it's
that.
pointing at. You know.
I like that.
If
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pointing at the moon, don't look at my finger.
I'll say that's a very, very healthy way of looking at that test.
I think there's another deeper way of saying it, where it's like don't.
Well, of course,
don't
there's a deeper
mistake
way.
it- Don't mistake my finger for the moon, if I'm pointing at the moon.
Yeah.
So, like-
what you said in a more balanced and zen way, but
Yeah.
but yeah,
That's like the original
yeah.
Buddhist say. Or
But
not
but
really,
the
I don't
point
know.
the point stands the same. Don't basically don't blame the messenger, just blame the message, so to say. It's
Yeah,
like
don't look to the messenger. Look to the
yeah
message.
yeah exactly yeah.
If you want answers, don't look to the messenger. You know, he's
Yeah.
just carrying one message.
Look at the letter
Where
it's
it
actually
came
bringing.
from is from. the
That can be whatever.
message.
That can be
Yeah.
whatever. The message
So
is
what
the
were we
message.
talking about?
In we're talking about a tattoo, but
I
but
don't remember how.
nah. I looked at it and thought, hey, that's some new stuff. But that guy that I saw, one of the reasons I
Yeah, back to the guy you saw.
yeah.
Oh.
Well, one of the
yeah.
reasons I thought about
No,
that.
I can get it. That was it, and then we went into Copenhagen.
Yeah.
I kind of get that. Like, let me get a tattoo while I'm drunk. And
Yeah, you
was
get
the
that.
story, but the thing is, the only reason I wouldn't get a tattoo while I was drunk, because I'm pretty sure if somebody said to me while I was drunk, as I am right now, if I got really drunk tonight, you could convince me to get a piercing in the other ear. I'm sure of that.
But there's a difference
But
between
the
a piercing and a tattoo.
No, but
right?
and that's it. But the tattoo, I can get how other people don't think like me.
Oh yeah, I get.
No, but like
That's one thing.
overthink like me, because the only reason I wouldn't get a tattoo while drunk is because I'm overthinking. But if I wasn't overthinking with the personality I have, if that personality was not one that would overthink, I would have a personality that would get a tattoo while drunk.
And I can be pretty
I'm sure of that.
spontaneous, but I would never get something that permanent done.
No,
that's that's kind of like my my distinction of it. Is like something
it's
is like because I got my I have a ring in my nose.
Yeah.
I got that. I've been thinking about it for a while, but I still got it as I was shit faced.
But you gotta remember, as also like.
So I get that whole piercing thing. It's like it's the tattoo things, because tattoos are just at such a higher level permanent than a hole in your ear.
But the thing is, when you're drunk, and if you have the mindset like, yeah, that would be fucking funny.
Oh, I
If you
can see how
already
people
have
would
that.
get it. I just don't personally.
But
like,
when you are drunk, it's not like you don't see the consequences. You just don't care. Because if you go up to a drunk,
I guess
I
set
have this
myself into that.
from a
Not caring when you're
I
drunk.
have this from a Jordan Peterson interview I saw where he says this. Like if you go up to a drunk person and ask them like, outline the consequences of the action they're about to do, they will perfectly outline the consequences of the action they're about to do. They just don't care about the consequences.
Shit, that's
And I'm like, shit, I know that feeling. And I'm like, that's me drunk. I know the consequences. I just don't give a shit.
And speaking of us being drunk from time to time, what is, I mean, like, if you want to indulge
come on.
me, if you want to indulge me, of course.
If I can answer, I will answer.
Yeah. What is the absolute most idiotic thing you remember doing?
Oh, okay. Idiotic. Do I have to be like ashamed, or can I be proud of it? Because there's a couple.
It depends
of
on what you
things
tell me, man. You tell
like,
me what you want to tell me.
I can give you a proud moment, and I can give you a very shameful moment. Because then it's like you got the 100% this way and 100% that way of being drunk.
I can give you one of mine. What do you think?
Okay.
So I had this time in my life when I was living down in a city longer down south in Denmark called Vordingborg. And our basically social interaction down there was just getting fucking, shit-faced.
Pretty
Because
much
there's,
the same thing where I came from.
because no offense to that city, like, completely, but there is not a lot for a musician to do in a city like Vordingborg for a guy that's like playing music and trying to get somewhere with it and just, not really getting anywhere with anything of it because he's in freaking Vordingborg.
Yeah, I have like one experience from Vordingborg, and that's playing in front of 3 people with you.
Yeah.
On tour together, like Birdhouse, Vordingborg.
Yeah, I mean, I've lived there
Burned the shit
for a couple of years, and not a lot of concerts. And there were not really for anybody else than like the more mainstream stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm down there and I'm getting shit faced as per the usual at that point in my life, and
Yeah.
I was sitting at this pub that we all went to called Tower Pub. And down there, at some point, there's this freaking long, I'm never going to forget him, Michael, his name was. And,
Diesel's here.
Michael,
here.
and,
Diesel.
and Michael, and Michael was gay. And he freaking loved me. He thought I was just the cutest little button he's ever seen. This little angry teenager with a big leather jacket and long curly hair and it's like, oh, you're so adorable.
Oh, how cute.
Exactly. I fucking love him. He was hilarious. And him and his boyfriend ended taking me to Tower Pub because I was just having a great time with these two guys because they fucking make me laugh constantly.
And also, they thought you were adorable.
Yeah, they
and
thought
who
it wa-
doesn't love that kind of attention? You know?
I
So,
mean,
of
yeah,
course.
as a like 15, 16-year-old, fuck yeah, I love that
Yeah, of
attention.
course. I still love that attention, man.
Probably with myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, we go down there with a couple of friends, and they just end up really pouring it into me, you know, like really getting me shit faced. And
You're like 15?
15, 16, yeah, something like that.
Maybe 17.
And I knew the bartender at that point. So I got out pretty. I started like partying pretty early, like when I was 13, 14. So maybe a little too early, but yeah.
Dude,
you know.
I know you're from like the islands of Denmark, but I'm from Skaving, and that's like it's a village, I'd say, of
Nothing really happens.
2,000 people, and like 500 of them are alcoholics.
Yay!
1,000
so you know the drill.
1,000 is old people, and 500 is the families who occupy the school with their children.
So, yeah.
That's it. So you get out pretty early to like get
Yeah.
rid of the boredom, as we
Exactly.
You know,
so
the more boredom you tend to get, you know.
And to be fair, I know the bartender at that point because she hung out with us, and then she started working down there, so we started getting like, you know, benefits from it.
Yeah, like really local shit.
Yeah,
like,
really local. So
yeah.
we're at that level. So we go down there, and they get me shit fucking faced, and then this girl that one of my friends like comes over and sits down next to me, and he sits over, and she turns around and says, "Hi, my name is," and then here's the funny part, I can't remember her name.
No.
It's too many beers ago. And then I turn around and I go, "Hi, my name is."
Oh no, you made that one. Oh, I just thought of another story.
So yeah, I turn around, I literally don't even get through the first sentence before I just empty my stomach all over her lap. Turn around, and they just take a sip of my drink.
Like nothing happened.
Because no, because I had to like wash the puke taste down.
You were just like practical. Okay.
And then so I was just like, oh, sorry, I'm sorry, and started like trying to scrape it off her. It's like with my bare hands and shit. It's so fucking stupid. But yeah, it's not the stupidest thing, but that's just like one of the many idiotic things I've done. She still remembers me for that one, though. That's pretty much a
Of course. That's
hardcore
like,
first impression.
Yeah, really.
Hi, let me empty my stomach all over your lap.
But really, it's like when you said that, I was reminded, because since you asked me the question, like, I don't even remember the question actually, but something about
The most craziest stupid thing that's happened
stupidest
in
thing or
a drunken
idiotic
stupor.
thing or something.
In a drunken stupor.
And when you said that, it reminded me of one girl I used to date. Like, my first, like, the biggest crush in my life.
Oof.
Still till this day, she is the one I compare every other woman with.
Damn.
She's that girl. And I remember the first time I met her was like this place in like the meeting point, Posen.
You better be careful. Some other girls are gonna listen to this and be like, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but like, as I used to do also, like, I got shit-faced that evening I met her. And it was like, I waited for the weekend to get shit-faced, not to get like, hang out with friends and get a little bit drunk maybe and have a good time. No,
shit-faced.
I was going to get shit-faced, and the plan was to get shit-faced.
We were on a mission.
Yeah, exactly. So I met this girl, Simone. Actually, I'm gonna pronounce her name like that because, like, Simone. That's okay. Simone.
Simone.
So, like, Simone was down there. And I met her just outside the bathroom, where I sat down because I felt pretty fucking sick. And she came over and sat down beside me. God knows why. I was so drunk. Maybe she thought I was cute. Maybe I talked to her earlier. I can't remember.
Maybe she thought you needed some help.
Maybe. No, actually, I remember because, of course, I dated her, so she told me why.
Yeah.
She just thought I'd look cute. I was like, I don't get why.
You really gotta look cute if you're still looking when you're sticking your head down the toilet and emptying. God damn, dude. Charisma plus 3.
I wasn't outside of the toilet. No.
Didn't even do it in the toilet.
No, I said, yeah, no, I didn't puke yet. Mate, you're confusing. I didn't puke yet. I was just sitting outside of the toilet because I thought I had to puke. I don't know. I was just sitting
like
out there.
Right.
She came, sat down beside me. I guess we started to talk. Or at least she talked to me because I remember, and she also said so, and I remember this. My first sentence was, if I tell you to move, do it fast because then I have to puke. That was like the first...
Love at first sight.
The first uttered words to my girlfriend to be.
Oh, man, that is classic.
If I tell you to move, do it fast because then I have to puke.
Take heed, gentlemen. This is how you get them.
So, from here, I guess we talked a lot because, well, she became a girlfriend. But in the meanwhile, though, I think probably 10 minutes later, I went to the bushes, puked, fell down in it, got dragged out by her. She pulled off my t-shirt because it was soaked in puke. I'd landed straight down. She threw it out and was like, does anybody have a t-shirt? And I got like this Støt brysterne t-shirt.
Support the breast. A Danish cancer, breast cancer movement.
Yeah, like a t-shirt from them. Size. Like I think it was like, just picture a crop top. You know, it went to like the navel.
A crop top?
Yeah, pretty much.
Fucking sweet,
and I
dude.
was like, fucking drunk, pretty much. And she helped me with one of my friends. Like, she was under one of my arms, and one of my friends was under the other arm. And they helped me to the train so I could get home. And she went with me. She went home with me. Nothing happened, but when we woke up the next morning, I was like, the Iron Angel? I don't really get this. Like,
what's going on?
I was just like, why would you do this? You met me when I was shit-faced, and you went home with me when I was no face. I was covered in puke.
I was no face.
I was like, I was nothing. Like, why would you go home with no one? Nothing. Nobody. Like, but
shit, man, you probably just wanted your bod bad. Yeah. Can't complain about that.
You know what? Maybe that's the thing, you know. She pulled me out of those bushes to get the t-shirt off me. No, but seriously, I have no idea how the fuck that happened, you know. But that's kind of one of the more embarrassed. I still feel kind of embarrassed because I really like that girl, and I can feel how I liked that girl back then, and that's kind of weird.
Yeah,
she really made an impression, and she did that. It's kind of crazy.
I have this myself. I have this one girl I dated.
No. You want to hear the stories?
Oh yeah, you got more.
I got like two more.
You got two more.
That was the one embarrassing.
That was the one embarrassing.
One more embarrassing, and that's like, that was just one I thought of while you were talking. These two others is like the most embarrassing, and by far that is the most embarrassing one. And there's just one idiotic thing that I'm kind of proud of.
Let's just take one of each.
Yeah, let's take the embarrassing one.
The other embarrassing, first. And then on a high note.
Yeah, like the worst one.
For sure.
It's not that I feel bad or anything. It's like, it's cool. I learned a lesson. Let's say it like that. I really learned a lesson. So, and also like it's a combo. It's also an Indian story.
Oh, hey!
So I'm in India.
Combination story.
I think it's last year actually.
Yeah.
Last year. Yeah, last year. not even January this year actually.
Wow,
January.
this year?
January, yeah.
Oh, so it's
And
new.
that's like, yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, way too real, new, yeah. So like I'm down there, we are there eating, me and Mom and Brian, having dinner. We meet up with some English friends down on the pub. One of our friends is Jack, and Jack is also from England. Yeah, he's from like the southern part of England, like this fisherman type. And like, but like a mellow guy. He's not like, he's more like, yeah, I suppose you hear them, huh?
I suppose we can go down and catch some fish.
Got about to catch some fish. I'm gonna hit it. They don't talk like that at all. But that was like the best impression ever of Jack. But he's like this guy wearing always his glasses, gray hair, bit long, cap, gray beard.
Yeah.
Great guy. Always talk good to him because it's like we have the same mindset. There's like he's always saying to me like, Chris, we like people watching, right? It's like all these people are going by and they don't know we're watching them, but we're people watchers us too. And so we have this bond where we just sometimes just meet and he's 74 or something, still going fishing, and that's his business.
That's what
But
he
we
does.
meet up and sit at the pub down there in India. Like there's an Indian pub, English Indian pub, weird place. It's an English pub but made by Indians, so it's not really long story short, we sit
Too
there.
late, but give it a shot.
Yeah, that's it. Because it's So we go home to Jack after we've been at this pub because we're not done talking, you know. Sit on his porch, drinking honeybee, which is a whiskey bourbon thing down in India, and get so drunk that I have a total blackout. So the rest of this story is like told from the 3 short moments I remember and what other people have told me.
Oh, that makes it even more interesting.
So, yeah, by the way, I just remember, actually it's before that because I don't really remember going to his porch. I remember
you're
getting
getting
up.
shit-faced with this guy at this pub.
Yeah, on the porch.
So the first thing you remember out of the 2 or 3,
Knocking at a door.
knocking at where? So you're not even at the pub anymore. You're
No,
left
you
at
just
some point.
you ask for the things I could remember. So let me say the 3 things I remember and what actually happened.
All right.
So let's take I'm on the porch.
Yeah.
Like, I know I went to the porch, so I gotta believe that I went there. Also, there's a whole nother story about Jack. He didn't go from the house, from the porch. He just went into bed, or tried to. Broken nose, everything.
Damn.
Yeah, he just went out, you know. He just went down, apparently, and laid on the porch, tried to crawl into bed. Me, apparently, I decided something else. So the first memory I have is knocking at a door. Not like, hey, anybody home? Like, you motherfuckers, get out here! I'm gonna fucking... And I'm like, holy shit.
Shit.
The next memory I have is like landing on my back. That's it. And the third memory, actually the third memory I have, sorry for the confusion, is actually supposed to be the first one. Yeah.
So this one you're telling now is the first one.
This one I'm telling now is the first one.
Yeah.
And the first one was the second, the third.
Yeah.
So the first one is that I'm standing in an apartment arguing. And I don't know what I'm arguing about, of course, but I know there's a lot of Indians. There's a lot of Indians, and we're all holding a drink is what confuses me. I remember when I woke up the day after and we're thinking about this and remember this, I was like, we're all holding a drink. So I'm supposed to be here, I guess.
So your 3 memories are you're in an apartment holding a drink. The next one is you're on a door,
Knocking aggressively.
banging on it and yelling about them to come out. And the third one is that you land on your back. And the next is you wake up somewhere hopefully a bit familiar.
Yeah, I wake up in my bed.
You wake up in your bed.
Yeah, which is at my mom and Brian's place in India. They
Shit.
have like this bungalow
Yeah.
they're renting, and
All
I
right.
sleep on the kitchen floor because I'm a cheap bastard, pretty much.
Sweet.
So I wake up there, and my mom is like,
So you
she's
have
not furious or anything. She's like, "Are you okay?"
so
She doesn't know really what happened either. I know now, but I didn't know there. She was like, wake me up. I'm like, of course it was okay, because I'm like, yeah, I'm hungover as fuck, but I had no memory of me doing anything.
I'm fine, Mom. God.
So I don't have time to go into this because we have to go through what happened and what I've heard
Yeah.
and what I recognize must be the truth. So we are on the porch. Jack blacks out.
Jack
Goes
blacked
to
out.
the floor.
Jack blacks out.
I think I must have gone from him before, because if he blacked out on the floor, I would probably, even drunk-minded, been like, okay, something's wrong. I gotta help this guy. So I gotta believe that I went before he blacked out on the porch,
Yeah.
because I was like, if I know myself right, I was like, I'm gonna party somewhere.
Yeah.
There's gotta be a party. I'm gonna go out. There's gotta be a party somewhere. And just next door, there's like, we used to live in Jack's house, and I remember that next door to his house, there's like this 3-story building where Indian tourists usually rent an apartment, and like they come down there to party.
Yeah.
I remember because they partied very loud. So I go in there, bang on the door. This is not the memory, though.
No, this has been
This
told.
is where apparently I'm let in. How I know all of this will come later.
Yeah.
I'm let in. There's a birthday party.
Oh.
And I'm like, hey, can I join your birthday party? I guess.
Can
And
I crash his
can.
birthday
Apparently I can.
party? Sweet.
you
Okay,
know.
yeah, sure, why not?
So I join in there. And I don't know what happens, because there's no other witnesses in there, apart from the Indians, of course. But I guess I've said something offensive. They throw me out. And that would be the argument, right?
Yeah.
So they throw me out. I won't take that. So I go banging on the door. Because I want to be a part of the party, you know. And this is not the memory of banging on the door either. This is where I'm just like politely trying to say, hey, if you can't call that politely, I'm like, let me be a part of the party.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
on,
I want to party.
I want to be drunk.
Yeah, so like, I wouldn't call that polite. But they're not really into it, so I start, like, I go down the stairs, apparently, and start yelling, just like yelling. And this is where this is a woman we have to know, that is called Renee.
Renee?
She's called Renee, part of the school.
Oh.
Head of the school, actually, of the whole thing.
Yeah.
She lives nearby. She hears me yelling.
Wow.
Another important thing to know is that the year before that, I had hair down to my fucking butt.
Wow.
And this year, I just cut my hair.
All right.
Yeah.
You got.
So she couldn't recognize me when she saw me. She was just like, some drunk guy yelling, man.
Yeah.
Fuck him. Went back to bed, right? Now I go up, banging on the door. Like a maniac. And they come out. Renee, again, hears that I'm banging on the door, apparently. Hears me banging on the door. I broke, like, a lock. Like, like a fucking lock.
Wow.
With my hands. I was angry.
Jesus.
I have no idea why I was this angry, though. But I was angry. I broke this, and I remember, because, the scar.
Yeah.
I still have a scar from then. Like,
That's
on my
from
hands.
there?
I like.
Wow.
I guess I've been hitting the shit out of it. Of course, the Indians got angry when I banged
Oh,
the door.
yeah, no
like
shit. You're breaking their lock. Jesus.
So Renee also got to the place at this point because she was like, something is going on.
Yeah, something is wrong.
And they came out. She was coming, going. The rest of the story is from Renee.
Yeah.
She's a reliable source because I've known him for like all the years I've been down there.
All right,
I'm her darling.
we'll take it as a reliable
I'm her
source.
darling, you know.
You're our darling.
But apparently they pushed me down like only like five stairs or something. But they pushed me down as they opened the door. They just pushed me down, and like 5-6 Indians just went out and ran down and began to like kick me. And apparently I just tried to get out to kick their ass. Apparently I don't know if I've been drugged or something. Apparently I couldn't feel any pain.
You've been totally shit-faced.
It was like crazy shit-faced, right? That's why I don't drink whiskey anymore. The honeybee I told you about, I don't drink whiskey anymore. From that incident and to forever, I don't drink whiskey. But like, so she came running because she was like, okay, those guys are going to beat this man. So Renee came running and was like, stop, stop, stop. She's English. Stop. And they stopped. And that was great. And I got up and I ran after them. Began to yell and tried to hit them. I was like, fuck you, pussy.
Right after Renee saves your ass, you're just going over like, fuck you.
Apparently. And she, but only then.
And
I was
only
like,
then.
I turned around and she was like, oh my god. Så hun, det var mig, ikke? Og jeg var den...
So she saw it was you.
She saw it was me, and I was like, I'm this hippie dude in her eyes, you know?
Yeah.
She saw it was me. I was like, oh, what are you doing? And she brought me to her place to like plaster me up and like get some band-aids on me. Yeah. And she went to the bathroom, and when she got out, I was gone. I had went back to the place. And apparently they were still there, and apparently I got my ass whooped once again.
Yeah.
Then the police were called. They had called the police.
Oh boy.
On me. They had called the police on me. They intruded to their fucking birthday party, man.
Oh man.
And the police came, and the police drove me home to my address. Mom and Brian weren't home. Luckily, Brian's parents were with us that year, and had to live just next to us for 3 days because their hotel something.
Whoa.
And they came out. Brian's mother came out and were like, yeah, I know this guy. She couldn't speak English. She's very bad at English.
Yeah.
So she was like, yeah. Come with him. So she like got me, because if she hadn't been there, they would have taken me to the police station to sew up, like in an Indian jail, like detention in an Indian jail. Imagine, like, I woke up the kitchen floor not remembering shit. I could have woken up in an Indian detention cell not remembering shit.
Imagine
like,
that, man.
Holy shit, I got lucky. And
damn.
I tell you, it's like everybody in that area knows me after 7 years down there. Like every Indian, every tourist, everybody from the school is living around that area. Everybody knew this had happened. And I knew shit. So like everywhere I went, I got little bits of information from people who had heard what had happened. And I couldn't remember shit.
Have you gotten flack for it?
What?
Have you gotten flack for it? You know, like have that like demean the.
No. No, these are like, they're not like these. Oh, I'm a proper Englishman. English people, they're like, oh, you gotta be in a fight.
You gotta be a fight once in a while, mate.
You learned your lesson, hey, mate.
You learned your lesson, you wee shit.
And that would be the Scottish or something. I don't know, man. Fuck these accents.
Yeah, I'm not really a master myself.
But yeah, it's like everybody knew before I knew what I've done. So I would say that is one of the most, no, not one. That is the most embarrassing moment in my life on alcohol.
Shit, man. That's Not real the brightest moment, especially when you run back a second time. That's real, and when shit starts to go.
3 times. I got thrown out from the birthday party.
All right, you got thrown
back,
out, and then
got up to Renee, went back, and got my ass whooped. Until the police came, and the police, they hate foreigners that make trouble. Foreign troublemakers.
Yeah, foreign troublemakers.
I've been so lucky because I got a couple of officers that tried to help me. Renee even said I told them, fuck off. Like, several times I told, fuck off to Indian police officers who hate tourist troublemakers. I'm the luckiest fucking prick on earth.
They've been able to say that you've been shit-faced.
Yeah.
But hey, man, honestly, we could do this all night, all day, and all night. But before we close this whole thing off, it's been absolutely enjoyable.
You know what?
But
I have to give you my proudest moment at least.
Okay. You have the proudest one.
You got it. Yeah.
All right.
Just a quick one.
All right. Give me the proudest one, or else this podcast is gonna be like 5 hours or some shit.
Okay, so we're in Hilo, bigger city than where I come from.
Bigger city in northern Zealand.
It's Christmas.
Zealand, or
it's
what
Christmas.
the hell they call it in English.
I'm in a suit. It's Christmas. I'm in a suit. And I see this huge Christmas tree and think, I'm gonna climb it. Like in the middle of the town square.
You're gonna climb a fucking Christmas
by the town
tree?
hall and like that. There's this huge Christmas tree, and I'm gonna go up to the star in my suit. And I get up there, all the way down.
You actually do?
Yeah, I get in my suit, all the way up, touching the star. Actually, I tried to steal the star.
That sounds like you.
It was connected to all the lights going down the sides, and I was like, too much trouble, right?
Right.
So, but I got up to the star, tried to steal it, couldn't steal it, got all the way back down. Me and my friends go for 15 meters. Then a police car drives up. No, 50 meters or something. A police car drives up and hey, any of you seen anybody in the Christmas tree? Before? And we're like, no, we just came out from the club, heading on.
No, officer, sir, we saw nothing.
They're suspiciously looking at us, and we're trying to keep a straight face, and they're like, okay, have a good evening, and they just drive further, and we just turn and go the opposite direction because all of us is just cracking up.
Yeah, no shit, man.
Yeah. That was it. I just had.
No,
I was I'm a little bit proud of that.
Yeah, no shit, man. You climb a Christmas tree in a suit.
Man. I got to the star in a suit, and you know what? The suit weren't torn. There were no tree sap on the suit. No, nothing. It was
shit, man.
That was a bad idea, and nothing bad happened. So I'm kind of proud.
Yeah, no shit. That's a thing to be proud of. You do something stupid, it's stupid, and you get away with it, and. This is a good story. Shit, man, why not?
That's the best parts of life. I learned my lesson, and I got away with it. Hey, that's the best part of life. Getting away with it and learning a lesson.
And learning a lesson. Fuck yeah, man.
The best of both. The best of all dimensions.
The best of both worlds.
Yeah, so that's a good thing.
Shit, man. But yeah.
Yeah, you want to close me out.
So this podcast doesn't end up being 5 hours. Because we could probably go for another.
Not this time.
No, not this time. Probably next time. A little more.
We'll make a 3-part series.
A 3-part series. Fuck yeah.
Of one.
But before we close it up, man, I want you to give a shout out.
John D.
Who or what is John D? Let
John
people know
D,
who doesn't know.
John D is this. Is I don't know. I would call him he's a mathematician, most of all from the Elizabethan times, the first mathematician. First of all, he viewed the world through mathematics, but was also into magic and mysticism and occultism, and like tried to find the link between these things. And that's like just a vague way to describe him, because he was so much more. He was just an interesting person. Like, the way he thought. Like, you have his diaries that you can also you can read them or just listen to a clever guy reading them to you. Podcasts, most podcasts will have something about John Dee if they're about history or philosophy, probably.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, he was just like trying to connect the natural things happening with the magic that has been written down through centuries, you know. He was trying to connect these things with each other, and also he was like politically a part of Elizabeth's plans of doing this or that. Like, he was guiding her, counseling her. Yeah.
So yeah, John Dee.
So seriously, don't let my explanation be anything.
Anything but a recommendation.
Looking up, yeah. It's a recommendation. Look him up, because he's an interesting dude, like, all over.
Sweet, man. Cool. But hey, I appreciate you taking the time. Appreciate you giving me the help to get this whole thing going. And if anyone has anything to say, any constructive criticism or anything like that, be free to tell me, because this is the first episode, so of course stuff has to be refined a bit. So anything you missed, give me a holler, and I'll close it up for now.
Yeah,
that's sweet, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Selvfølgelig.
All right. See you next time, fuckers.
Fedt.
All right.
Jamen, curse, altså, jeg er ked af, at det ikke bare kan være os to hver gang.